Manchester, the cow killer, Casey McCollister, and comic engineer, standing at 4'8", the pride of the West Side, Elliot Rearing. And your host, weighing 150 pounds, soaking wet, from Hamilton, Ohio, Ace Fowler.
Well, hello and welcome in. This is it. This is the final day that the show will look like this, where there's a desk up here, and there's going to be one person sitting up here. As I've alluded many times, I'm not the host of this show. I'm not. I know I sit up here, but it's literally because there's nowhere else to sit in the room. So that's why I sit up here. But it's good to be back. Took yesterday off. Much needed little rest after working all weekend and working for about a week straight. So I had a delightful little Monday with my wife. But it's good to be back. Reds play today. Reds are red hot. That makes me sad because they beat my Cubbies 3 out of 4 games. But it's good to see everyone's smiling faces. Once again, it's good to be back on Off the Bench. So, Casey, it's good to see you. Look at you read it out.
That's right.
You guys are going to make some content today.
That's correct. We are going to make some content today.
Are you going to the game?
I certainly plan on it if that's what we
I
feel like
I
doing.
think that's the plan. I think the plan is to go down there and have ourselves a little fun night against the Guardians.
I mean, it might even be that we do content in the stadium if we're lucky.
How many threes are you going to have, and how many twos are you going to have? Because it is 3-2-1 night.
Yeah,
Are you going to sprinkle in a 1?
I might sprinkle in a 1.
I know you're going to have 2 twos. Every ball game you've ever been to, 2 twos.
You know I do. It's
2 hot dogs.
I went at the Memorial. I had to go get one.
Can I tell that story?
Sure. By the way, shout out. Look at Paul. Look at Paul's in the chat.
Paulie's
Wow.
in here.
Oh, hey.
Go ahead. Tell a story.
It's the last one looking like this, by the way, guys. The show's going to run tomorrow at 10 a, but it's still going to be off the bench. It's just not going to have this desk up here. Sorry if I sounded ominous. But Elliot comes up to me and he goes, Reed, because he knows I like Chicago cuisine, Italian beef, deep dish pizza, and Chicago dogs. And he goes, Reed, they've got Chicago dogs up there. They're the best. And I look at what he's got, and he just has a hot dog and a poppy seed bun. And I was like, that's not a Chicago dog at all. You're just eating a hot dog with a different bun. And he goes, no, it's a Chicago dog. And I was like, you're missing like 7 ingredients there. You're missing like 7 of them.
When I ordered the hot dog at the Hot Dog Hut, I went up to him and I said, I looked at the menu. I said, I will have a Chicago-style hot dog plain, because that is what it was called on the menu. So I was reading the menu, and what else am I supposed to say? That's what I wanted.
It'd be
Once you
like
add the plain, it's no longer a Chicago-style dog.
It's just a plain
it's
hot dog.
like if you ordered a pizza without the cheese or the sauce. At that point, you're just having bread. Like at that point, you're just getting a circular bread. Like that's not pizza anymore. But I digress. I'm glad you enjoy the poppy seed.
That was a great hot dog. I think Jim, before he didn't review it, he was like moaning during eating it. So I think
it was a very good hot dog.
it was a very good hot dog. And shout out to the Memorial.
But
You did the same thing at Wrigley Field when we went last year. You
Correct.
got
I
two
eat
Chicago
plain things.
styles,
I'm a
and they have you're supposed to put the peppers on it and the tomatoes and the mustard and all that stuff. And
I'm a pretty picky eater. Everybody knows this.
And Elliot just is like, you know what? Nah, Chicago dog.
And it was great. It was great then too. I give
Glad you
Wrigley a
enjoy
lot
it.
of props.
I really am glad you enjoy it.
Thank you. Wow. By the way, it's good to be back since almost sweeping your Cubs. I was there for the Sunday loss.
Thank you for your
But what
service.
an uncompetitive series for your Cub legs.
Listen, I put a tweet out, I think Friday, after they lost 2 games to the Reds, and I said, I will take the Cubs getting swept if that meant that my alma mater, the school that my dad coached, and he still is an assistant coach there, if they win their first state title in 25 years. And that didn't happen. So if you were a betting man, you should have put every ounce of dollars, because there's no way God was letting me down on Sunday after the way that the Rams lost. By the way, they've been to the state Final Four 15 times. They only have 2 state titles. Not very competitive.
Damn.
But
Damn. Where was that game played?
Akron, the Akron Rubber Ducks.
The University of Akron?
No, Akron. They're AA team, the
Oh, I
Rubber
see.
Ducks. Funny story about that. When I was in college, I went up there. It's about 3.5, close to 4 hours to get up to Akron, and I've been conversing to be an intern there, do some broadcasting, do some other stuff for them. And I drove 4 hours on a whim up there, did the interview, all went great. They offered me the position, and they said, oh, yeah, it's unpaid. And I said, thanks for wasting my – I know, Jimmy, I know you're an unpaid intern here, and I know you're far away. But I had no one to live with. I didn't have my girlfriend's parents to live with up there. I didn't have any of that stuff. And I was like, I'm sorry, I got to go cut grass. So I turned it down. I shook his hand, and then I was like, sorry, I can't do this. I can't live 4 hours away from home.
On $0.
On $0. Shout out to Jimmy. Maybe we should get you some money. Maybe I don't have that ability to pay you, but I'll see what I can do here.
I paid for his hot dog.
You did pay for my Chicago dog plain.
Yeah, I like how
You got it plain. Did you prefer plain, or did you want a Chicago style dog?
Love Chicago style hot dog.
Oh no!
Chicago style hot dog.
When you review something, you review it in its basic form.
that is
That couldn't be more.
That's
No,
not true.
If you
That
review a
is
Chicago
true.
style
That
hot
is
dog,
true.
you review a Chicago style hot dog.
Well,
That
that's
is true.
A Chicago style hot dog in its basic form is without anything removed or added.
Here's what I want. I want $6.50 Venmoed back to me, Jim, because this is a disgrace. I buy this guy a hot.
understand.
I buy this guy a hot dog, and he's where's the condiments? Where's everything else? You know what? Next time I'll pay $10.50 so you can have all the condiments on your little dog.
No, but what?
I
It was
want
$10.50 for a plain hot dog.
No, it was $10.50 for all the stuff on it.
I told you it was very good, and I very much enjoyed it.
Barely.
But I would prefer a Chicago style dog over a normal hot dog, just on the everyday hot dog.
It's like ordering a 5-way with no beans and no onions, and not calling it a 3-way. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you went to Skyline and you just got spaghetti.
Yeah.
You just got no cheese. Sorry, I'm sorry, Elliot. He looked over at me. He looks very, very sad. So I'll
That's
stop.
fine. That's fine.
It's good to be back. I love that you love Chicago style dogs.
I do. I love this great city of Chicago. In all their crime. Okay, so speaking of crime, Noelvi Marte spoke to the media for the very first time yesterday, Readeroo. I don't know if you saw this.
I saw the clip. I saw the tweet, and then I saw it looked like a Zoom.
Yeah,
a Zoom call.
I look, and here's the thing. I'm a little more calmed down from yesterday. I'm kind of, I'm not walking back my take because I think I have the right take. But I will say I'm not as mad as I was yesterday. When that first tweet was sent out by Charlie Goldsmith, does a great job. When that first tweet was sent out, I looked at that quote and I'm like, there's no way anybody with a rationally thinking brain can believe you. Well, and by the way, who would come up with it? So I've learned a couple things. That was clearly not given to the Reds, or that was not showed to the Reds. I think that was just a personal statement by him and his agent. Because I think surely the Reds would have had to stop it. I think that would have been the worst thing I've ever read had it been from Reds PR. I think him and his agent concocted that, and what I've also found is that many other players that have been busted for steroids have said not the same thing, but roughly similar things. And I think that was my big issue too. All he said was, in fact, I have the quote here. I don't know why I'm not reading it. In reality, it just appeared in my system. I really don't know how it came about, unfortunately. That's as far as I know. Everybody knows that's a BS statement. You have to make it, I guess, for the sake of, future problems. You don't want to get caught on a hot mic saying, yeah, I definitely did that steroid, even though you were suspended, nobody appealed it, and we all know you're guilty. But I guess you just say it for whatever. My take is, if you were caught and the Reds didn't openly appeal it, it's very clear that you're guilty. And especially if you find it in your system, there's nothing you can really do anyway. But saying all of that, if you were going to have this story, I would have liked to have this story given out by the Reds at some point during the season. And maybe it was, and I wasn't paying attention, or not enough attention. But it's crazy to me that he just says straight up, I don't know how it got into my system. I read the Kirby tweeted out a couple other players what they said, and there was always like some sort of reasoning, like even if like it was a bad reason, like Tatis gave the ringworm thing. If you give me something, I can almost believe it. But when you come out and you say, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how it appeared in my system, and that's it. That's the end of this statement. I think that's crazy. I think that's one of the worst statements I've ever heard. And Noelvi Marte, will this be a story in 5 to 10 months? No. It'll be a non-story by the end of the week. But because we are in the dead of summer, this is interesting news. This is an interesting story to talk about. I think Noelvi Marte is a fine player. I think when he comes back, he's going to help the team. I think we're over this steroid nonsense. But that statement was utter trash, and I think everybody knows it.
Cincy B wants to know if you think it's an immaculate injection.
I do think it was an immaculate injection. That is actually really, really good. That's the other part of it too, where it's a horse steroid that you need to inject via needle. So again, magically somebody needles him. I don't know. That hasn't happened to me yet in my life. But I guess in the Dominican, maybe that's possible. I don't know, because there are stories in the Dominican where maybe you eat something or something like that, and it shows up on the test. Tommy Thrall was on with Kinner yesterday, and he alluded to that. There are very rare, but there are instances where that happens. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in this specific instance that it happened.
Where does this rank in all-time steroid denials? First off, I'll give you the short list.
Sure.
You got Mark McGuire, or was it Rafael Palmeiro? I think it was Rafael Palmeiro that pointed his finger, and he's like, I did not do steroids at the Congress. And then there was also Sammy Sosa, who had spoken English for over a decade, and then when he testified before Congress said, no habla inglés, and just didn't speak, had an interpreter speak for him in the entire time. That's an all-timer.
That one's even better than this one. If you straight up said, yeah, I can't speak English, I'm very sorry, I don't understand your questions, then I'm on his side again. But I think I don't know. I think this is more of a botch by the Reds than it was Noelvi Marte. And I'm going to read some of these quotes. Nick Kirby tweeted this out if you wanted like a reference, if you wanted to see how other players handled it. Laureano denied that he knowingly took the banned substance. In a statement by the Players Association, he said he was shocked when he learned about the positive test. So he didn't deny that he took the banned substance, but was at the same time was shocked. So even that, like, you took a little bit of ownership, but you're still somewhat denying it. I get it. I can understand the thought there. But it's just like, and I know Tatis did the ringworm, and I can't explain. That's a terrible excuse. I can't explain that one. Robinson Cano and his representative, however, they insist that he took the drug, I'm not going to pronounce it, as prescribed by a doctor in the Dominican Republic for a medical condition. They insist it was not performance-enhancing drug. Even then, you can blame it on the doctor. You can blame it on somebody else. There's a rational thought behind it where I can be like, okay, you know what? I don't believe him, but at least he's coming up with an excuse that I can believe if I so choose to be negligent. Montas said he was unknowingly ingested the banned substance as part of an over-the-counter supplement he purchased within the United States. Quote, while I never intended to take any prohibited substance, I unfortunately and unknowingly ingested a contaminated supplement that I had purchased over-the-counter at a nutrition store here in the United States. Again, he's denying it. He's saying he didn't do it. But at the same time, there's a reason there, at least, that I can look at and be like, okay, if you're going to lie, at least I can somewhat believe you. Noelvi Marte just straight up said, I don't know how it got there. Nobody knows how it got there. A drug that you need to inject with needle just magically appears.
This is the worst take you've ever had.
I don't think this is not. This is the
star
worst
player,
take I've ever had.
This is worse than your Masters.
I think
this is crazy.
This take is way better than yesterday.
This is better than yesterday, but it's not close.
No,
not close to good.
I agree with Elliot that it does seem like Marte is doing the teenager, like his mom went through the sock drawer and found like a baggie of weed or like a pack of cigarettes and like, how'd this get there? And he's like, I don't know.
And that usually works.
I don't know.
That usually works. Look, you want a 22-year-old, one of the top prospects in the organization, to sit up there before his first MLB season and say, yeah, I injected steroids and ruined the rest of his career? No. I want him to sit up there and say exactly that.
But he was suspended. He was already punished. They already found the test.
So who cares whether he said he did it or not?
Because
who cares?
Because we know he did it. Why not take why not take a little bit of the blame? Why not come up there? You don't even have to say you did it. You just say, I've learned from my mistake. You know what? This was an unfortunate situation, and I've learned from my mistake.
He made a mistake. He doesn't know how it got there. There was a tweet from back in March from someone that works with his agent
I saw
saying
that
he said this story will unfold over the next couple months. We'll realize that Marte didn't inject steroids, whatever. This is back in March. They were talking about this being part of the story. So I think there is some more stuff to go on here, and I don't understand why in any world a young player would go up there and say, yes, I did steroids. I think that would be the absolute worst thing to do. And
because
if you don't have a concrete,
because nobody is
excuse for why, like Tatis's ringworm or Cano pointing to the doctor, if you don't have a concrete excuse, saying you don't know how it got there is exponentially better than making up a lie that you can't back up or saying you did steroids.
I think that there's like arguments that can be made from both sides. Like obviously I understand why you wouldn't want to say, yeah, I did steroids and I made a mistake. But I also think that coming up, oh, it just magically appeared in my system is like, no one's going to believe that. No one's going to look at it and be like,
he could have said anything. He could have said he ate a bad hamburger. He could have said literally anything in the world, and I would have been like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to side with him. He's my guy. I don't believe him, and nobody with a right-thinking brain actually believes that statement. But saying that, you could have said anything else additionally to what he already said, which is, I don't know how I got there.
Yeah, it's like kind of acknowledging that there was a possibility that it maybe happened without actually saying, yes, I made a mistake.
I don't like that. I don't like opening the door that you did it on your own. Keep that door closed.
You're opening the door that this can happen anytime, anywhere, any place, and it can happen again.
Absolutely.
So our guy, Noelvi Marte, can magically find steroids in his body again coming down in his future? Because that's a
possibility.
You don't
it's a possibility for everyone
so
if
you
you
don't,
eat the burgers in the
If he
Dominican.
doesn't, if he gets pinched again, are you still believing the
Double Jeopardy cancels out.
That's not how Double Jeopardy works. But basically what we're getting to is Elliot wants Marte to take a little bit of ownership, right? He's still going to support him. He's still going to support him, and that's okay. And Jacob, I think you guys both have good points, by the way. Jacob's just like, don't ruin your career over this. Like, right? If you come out as a steroid user and admit it, then that will be on your record for the rest of your career. It probably already will tarnish his record at least a little bit, although we tend to forget these things. Like Tatis was just a couple years ago, and we were already like, yeah, Tatis is still a great player. Like we already forget about it. It didn't take very long for David Ortiz to forget it when he took steroids, moved on. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I don't know. You guys both have good points.
I'm not against like the steroid era. I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I think Mark McGwire should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not against like this steroid thing. I'm against it obviously when you get caught and it hurts our team. That's when I'm against it. But it's just crazy to me. And by the way, some guy in the chat, MW2 Top G. He served his 80 games. Get over it. He has not served his 80 games yet, but thank you very much for your input.
He starts his rehab assignment later this week.
Correct.
So he's back with the organization.
I think it's today.
He is back with the organization soon.
Today.
Yeah, I think it is today.
But here's the thing. I'm not saying him plead guilty to the charge, and even if I was, he's not going to word it like you keep saying it. He's not going to say, yeah, I definitely did. He's going to say some typed up phrase that his agent or lawyer brought to his attention. He's going to say, I don't know how it got there. Here's the reasons why, yada, yada, yada. He did have other quotes, and I guess I'll read those now as well. He said, quote, via interpreter, I should add, via interpreter, the whole team has had my back since we learned about the suspension. I don't think it'll change anything that goes on with the team. They've always had my back. Another quote, I felt anxious and ready to get back, distraught that I wouldn't be able to get out there. Fortunately, I'll be able to be out there soon. And finally, quote, it's looking at my diet and how my health works. I live in a country that doesn't have the health system to that. So you see in the States, I have to look over everything going on to make sure these results don't happen again. If it's true that something happened in the Dominican where whatever magically it gets into his blood, then fine. I will apologize to Noelvi Marte. But I don't believe that's the case. I think it was an easy out to appease everybody and just say, you know what, I beefed up. We're moving on. I apologize.
Appease me. That would make me so mad if he sat up there and said, I did steroids and got that.
I don't know.
I don't know how you can have that take.
Well,
it's just crazy.
He's not necessarily wouldn't be getting up there and saying, I did the steroids and I regret it.
Then how is anything else? How is making up a lie, another story? How is the food lie and a doctor lie any different? How is that any different? A lie's a lie.
Yeah, but one of them is like more a white lie, and the other one's just obnoxious, like ridiculous.
See, if there's a 0.5% chance that it was in his food, I like leaving the door open for him to play in the playoffs.
There's a 0.5% chance that it was in his food, but there's a 100% chance that we need to take a break
That's
here
right.
on 1410 Wing AM Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. And welcome back to Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. I'm Reed Mouse, Casey McAllister, Elliot Rearing, Jimmy Collins, Jacob Tissett in the room. As we mentioned, this will be the last day where the format looks like this to our YouTube viewers, but it will be pretty much the exact same for the radio listeners up there in Dayton. Drew Garrison with a $5 super chat. Breaking! I will be inside Great American Ballpark tonight and boosting odds
Incredible.
on Ellie De La Cruz home run plus Reds money line. Profiting off the factory of sadness, Tristan McKenzie leads the league in home runs given up, and that's who's pitching tonight for the Guardians. So might be a good bet. Elliot Rearing, headlines in sports. Let's rock and roll.
Headlines in sports on June 11th, not many, but we're going to read them anyway. Gunnar Henderson, he homered on the first pitch yesterday as the Orioles win 5-2 over the Rays. The Twins, they shut out the Rockies 5-0. Rockies have lost 8 of their last 10. Brewers took care of the Blue Jays 3-1. Colin Rea shined in his longest outing since 2016.
Ooh.
7 innings, allowing 3 hits for our guy Colin Rea. Was he a bullpen guy for a little bit too? I think he was like the opener for a while. I don't know what his deal is. Carlos Rodon, he won his 7th straight start as he pitched shutout ball into the 7th. Yankees beat the Royals 4-2. The Padres, they walloped the Athletics 6-1. Fernando Tatis, he extended his career best hitting streak to 16. Mr. Ringworm himself. The Mariners, they trailed 4-0 to the White Sox. And I saw this. The White Sox had not won when hitting 2 home runs on the road.
Yep.
They blew it. They were up 4-0. They blew it. It was a walk-off grand slam by Raleigh to win the game 8-4 for the Mariners. Astros. Excuse me, they fall to the Giants 4-3 as an Austin Slater single capped off a 3-run 10th inning. NHL news. The second game of the Stanley Cup was last night where the Oilers took a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately, it was all Panthers after that. 4-1, Florida wins. Evan Rodriguez, he scored twice for a 2-0 series lead. It looks like Connor McDavid, his time is over this season.
Who are you rooting for in that?
I don't care. The Florida Panthers, I don't care. I saw a clip of that arena, and there was just legit nobody there. It looked like a 65% occupied hockey stadium, at least in the clip I saw. So I don't know if that was just one game.
They
Or...
just have an elite home court.
It
I don't know.
was when like first intermission, kind of that.
Oh, okay.
When they start the second period and people are still kind of funneling down.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw what you saw.
Because I saw the clip and I was like, what is that crowd?
I'm rooting for the Oilers. Their fans seem a little more perky.
I'm Perky.
Perky, yeah.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Yeah.
I like the Oilers as well. They're not going to win, but I would like to see Canada back on top. It's not going to happen, but again.
See, that's why I'm rooting for the Panthers, because I think it's funny that
Just dominance.
that Canada just can't find a way to win the Stanley
That
Cup.
Miami, Florida is going to overtake
Yeah.
overtake Canada.
How many championships has the Florida Panthers won?
This would be their first.
This would be the
Yeah.
first?
Yeah.
WNBA news. The Fever, they lose yet again. 89-72, this time to the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark was held to just 10 points as the Sun beat the Fever for the 3rd time already this season. Any thoughts on Caitlin Clark's 10-point performance, Reed? I know you watched that one. You were texting me all about it last night.
No comment on that. Caitlin Clark will find her footing. WNBA, much better product basketball-wise than I think we could give it credit for.
Do you think she should have been on the Olympic team?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why's that?
I want to win gold.
Apparently they were like, I heard Diana Taurasi talking about it, and she was saying like people have been kind of trying out, working with the coaches for like years now. So
She also missed the original tryouts when
Right.
they made the Final Four. So
like I could understand
Yeah, I'm not.
why
you know,
she wouldn't
I
be
mean,
on the team this time around.
Interesting. NFL news, Jamar Chase, who has skipped OTAs and wants a new contract, is present for mandatory minicamp, sources tell Ian Rappaport. He was present for Media Day yesterday and is in the building today. That's our guy, Jamar Chase. Looks like Schefter is not freaking out today. Is that true?
Shout out to Cincinnati Bengals fans, because we just dunk on national media members anytime that they say something about the Cincinnati Bengals now. So shout out to this. It's just a mob mentality out there, sticking together. not eating each other alive. We'll see what happens.
Adam Schefter still no tweets about Jamar Chase in town, so he must be crying in his bed this morning.
He's scared. He's scared. That's
scared.
all.
Really,
That's
really
all it is.
upset.
He's scared.
He's
He's
gonna
a scared
tweet,
little
like,
boy.
T. Higgins still not there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Mike Tomlin, he was extended by 3 years yesterday by the Pittsburgh Steelers, which means 3 more years of winning. Winning seasons for the
Congratulations to
Pittsburgh
the Pittsburgh Steelers for 3 more years
9-8 football.
of mediocrity. You guys earned it. Good job. Shout out Steelers.
Steelers. They go to 18. It could be 10-8 though. NBA news.
Or 99.
Or 99.
Or 99. NBA news, and this was the biggest fake out maybe of all time. He's the best troll in the business. UConn's Dan Hurley has turned down the Los Angeles Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer and will return to chase a third straight national title. The contract would have made him one of the top 6 NBA highest paid coaches.
So was this all a ploy?
Yeah.
Because what would he would have had? It was a big contract, much more than he's getting paid. It's the biggest brand in the sport, in the Los Angeles Lakers. You get to coach the greatest or second greatest basketball coach or player of all time, at least for a year or two. And he just turned it down. He went out there, did the whole thing. Had to have been just a ploy, right? Because now the players that he's recruiting, if he's not going to take the Kentucky job, he's not going to take the Los Angeles Lakers job. That's full commitment into a team that's won back-to-back national championships. It's an incredible move by Dan Hurley. It has to have been a bit. Has to have been.
I don't think
if you ever considered taking that job and flying out there, that offer is what you take.
Yeah.
Like that offer is exactly what you would take.
Right.
So it had to have never even crossed his mind to go to LA.
Like, dude, when he gets on the plane, you think he's like calling his wife and he's just like, idiots.
Hook,
got
line,
these
and
guys.
sinker, baby.
Got Rob Lowe to fly me out here.
Listen, J.J. Redick is probably on an all-time heater today. That guy was promised the Lakers job by LeBron in his little podcast, and I think he was very disappointed when he heard this news, when it broke, when it leaked. And now it's just going to be probably the J.J. Redick head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Apparently, he already has a staff put together.
Really?
Yeah, he was putting.
He was
so the
putting
rumor
together a
before
staff,
this
yeah.
Dan Hurley stuff came out was that he was putting a staff together, and the only reason they haven't announced him as the head coach is because he has to do the finals games.
Yeah.
He has to broadcast the finals games. And then this Dan Hurley thing comes out, and they offer him the job. I mean, it's such a weird situation that just happened. But shout out to Dan Hurley. That's a Bengals fan, so I root for Dan Hurley.
We stand for Dan.
That's right.
We stand for Dan in this city.
I would have loved, though. God, we missed out on Dan Hurley losing his mind on 41-year-old LeBron James on a random game against the Portland Trail Blazers in December in a 12-point loss. God, that would have just been incredible. That would have been incredible to see how LeBron responded to that.
Anthony Davis' hamstrings would have just popped off the bone doing 3 sets of stairs in Staples Center. So
That's right.
Would have been good.
I also got a DM yesterday.
Oh, direct message.
I got a DM
That's good slang.
from a Chatterbox viewer. His name is Charlie, and he told me to mention this. I did kind of mention it yesterday, but didn't mention this specific team. Reed, there are 300 teams that play Division I college baseball, and the only teams that made the College World Series are from the SEC and ACC. Your thoughts?
I've said this if you look at who has won the College World Series in the history of the College World Series, I think there's been I don't consider Oregon State. Oregon State's won a couple of College World Series.
Yeah.
But outside of Oregon State, I think that there has been 2 teams in the history that have won from above the Mason-Dixon line, that have won the College World. Michigan won it one time, and I think there was one other team. That's just not doing too much research, but the South dominates.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about
You
it.
just don't get to play enough baseball.
Yeah, like when a kid from Georgia, an 18-year-old kid from Georgia, Savannah, Georgia,
Sure.
versus a kid from Cincinnati, Ohio. That kid from Savannah, Georgia has 1,000 more at-bats by the time he's 18. This is also why pitchers from the North tend to fare a little better because their arm isn't as used as much because they're not playing all year round. They're not pitching all year round. But it's just it's interesting. The South dominates.
I can't believe Kentucky has never been to the College World Series before. Kentucky baseball.
Yeah, they've once again, that's the farthest north SEC school. So if you're a serious recruit, serious enough to go to the SEC, which dominates in baseball, why would you not go farther south? Why would you not go somewhere that has a more storied tradition? But we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Clay Snowden.
That's right.
Clay Snowden's going to be on Off the Bench. That and more when we come back on 1410 Wing AM. And we are back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmer. Shout out to our sponsors that let us have a job every single day. In just a few moments, we will have Clay Snowden on the program. Elliot's going to steer that interview.
Ooh.
It's been about a month. It's been about a month since we've had a guest on here. Jacob said he has not seen an interview on this show. We got to get back to some more interviews. But I'm going to let Elliot welcome in Clay. I'm going to let Elliot interview Clay, but we appreciate having Clay take some time out of his busy day to come on our program. So without further ado, Elliot Rearing, welcome in our guest.
Wow, that was a hell of a setup for me, who is then now going to set up Clay. Clay is an MLB and Reds contributor for Just Baseball. You can follow them at JustBB_media. Clay also writes for the Tigers and the Athletics and the Marlins. Pretty much any team that doesn't get like 2,000 fans to the ballpark, Clay's their guy. And he is here today to talk about the Noelvi Marte suspension and the Cincinnati Reds. Clay, how are you, buddy?
I could not be any better.
I'll tell you what, your backdrop looks a lot better than the last time we talked to you. I think you were just getting it switched out or changed up in there. There was like one little light, one little headlight. Is that light still in there?
They
little
are.
lamp. A little
you
lamp.
may be able to see them. From
Oh,
the side.
yes, there they are. Look at
They've
that.
not gone anywhere. They're
That's-
still here. I'm in my new house. I built this. Yes, I built it. Humble
Wow.
flex. Everyone,
Heck yeah.
good job, Clay.
Good job,
So,
Clay.
Good job, Clay.
I
Really
get this
good job,
I
Clay.
sit at home all day and do Zooms, and I don't say enough to impress people, so I have to just, have a nice background.
What color green is that, Clay? What color green is
This
that?
is
Because it's
called
very
Pure
warming.
Green, Sherwin-Williams 2024 Color of the Year in some fashion, of course.
Wow.
I mean,
Heck yeah.
I'm always on trend, right?
It looks fantastic.
Clay, I'll tell you
Thank
what, you look great. And speaking of looking great, Noelvi Marte, how did he look yesterday during that opening press conference, huh? Now, we had a segment about it before you came on, Clay. And again, this is going to be a non-story in about a week. But for right now, it's a story because quite literally there's nothing else to talk about. Noelvi Marte's comments when it magically appeared into his system. He doesn't know how it got there. It came out of the blue. Do you think that was the correct route to go to if you were Noelvi Marte speaking to the media for the very first time since this incident?
Yeah, I'll answer that, then add on as well. So
Okay.
I think it is the right route. And the reason why is what I want to add on.
Yeah.
We as just fans have put ourselves in a situation where we expect too many answers. Like, this guy doesn't, to me, it's like these press conferences, why would I even have to say anything? I don't have to. They ask a million questions. Same thing with, coaches or, GMs, oh, why didn't Nick Kroll say this or that? Just don't say anything. They don't owe us a thing. So the fact that we expect, all these answers and they all have to be truthful and they all have to be a long explanation, I don't know. It just got there somehow. I don't know. What does he gain from saying, yeah, I did do it, and I wanted to cheat, and I got caught. Are we gonna say, oh yeah, stand up guy? Just say, I don't know, man. And it's probably truthful. I know that there's other players that have gone the same route. I don't know if that's a PR move or if that's actually yeah, I don't know how this got in my body. I take all these supplements. They're athletes, Elliot, and what athletes do, I know you may not understand this, but they have to do a lot of things for their body, take these supplements, vitamins, and they have people that help them even work out. And those people sometimes give them things. Who knows?
Clay, I agree with you. I don't think he should have said a word. It's that thing where if you're going to speak in front of the media, just say no comment. If you would have just straight up said no comment, I would have had no issue with it. But at the same time, if you're going to come out and say anything, and you're just going to give us some BS answer that there's no thinking to that. And I get your point. He doesn't want to criminalize himself here. He doesn't want to say anything that is going to make the fan base hate him even more. He's just going to say, I don't know, and move on. But at the same time, if there's not going to be really any fight regarding the suspension and nobody's really going to talk about it, I would like to just say, you know what? I've learned from my mistake. I've moved on. Or maybe just not even say I learned from my mistake. Just say, you know what? I've moved on from this situation, and that's all I have to say about it. But if you're going to say, I don't know how any of it got into my system, and have people actually believe you, it's a crazy move.
We have learned from multiple comments out of the Reds organization that their like PR team or system or plan, whatever it is not great. I mean, they have had several quotes
Correct.
that have just been idiotic. And I'm not a PR person in any way, but I have watched enough and like understand enough, just like a fundamental, like I'm an adult. I know what to say and what not to say. And like they don't at times.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising. He probably felt like he had to say something, or the Reds felt like they had to say something. I don't understand why it came now and not earlier, and I also don't understand why it wasn't like just better prepared. If you're going to say something, just have a little bit more clear. Even if it was like you said, like I don't really want to talk about it. It's in the past. Like we've seen people say that type of stuff. Like at least that's concise and like has a plan.
Correct.
His just felt like it was just kind of like, oh my god, they're going to ask me about this. I had no idea.
That's why I'm more mad at the Reds than anybody. I'm not even as mad as Noelvi Marte, as whoever let that statement go through, whether that be his agent, whether that be the Reds PR, whoever it was, somebody messed up allowing that specific quote to be said. And either way, again, this will be a non-story in a week. So this is just something for us to talk about. But going back to Noelvi Marte, he is obviously going to return relatively soon. How big of an impact do you think he's going to make for this team?
Yeah, we'll see exactly how the lineup all shakes out. It's a little bit easier with Candy can go to first, and you have third base. You can have Marte there. I know that they said he's been kind of working out at different positions. Like to me, like I feel like we've heard that with several players before, and it never really comes to show in the game. So we'll see. I want him to play multiple positions, but you're definitely getting an impact bat. I mean, it was a small sample last year, but he really impressed. He's off the roids now, apparently, so we'll see how that plays in. But to me, it's okay. Like you are getting a much better bat in the lineup. Is he an all-star? No, but again, it pushes everyone down a peg. So, Santiago Espinal's not playing as much or at all, or it bumps everybody down, which overall just helps the depth and length of the lineup.
Who do you think would be the one to go if or when Noelvi Marte comes back? Who's the one to get sent down?
I don't know what they're going to do about like shortstop, and
that's what I was
if
thinking.
They want to play, because if they really do want to play him at shortstop, then just like, okay, we know Ellie's going to play 99% of the games. As long as he's healthy, send Espinal down. Like, you could do that. I think that they have a little too redundant of not skill set, but ceiling in the outfield. Too many players that are just kind of like, I just don't really know. So maybe it is somebody like, Blake Dunn or Hurtubise or whatever. Like, you can go multiple routes, and that's what's cool about the roster is how versatile it can be when it needs to be. Now I guess we'll just see what they do, but either way, the Reds are getting better.
He's going to add defense too, and that's another big part of it. Jeimer Candelario, he's been great offensively, and we'll talk about him next. But Jeimer Candelario defensively has been one of the worst third basemen statistically in Major League Baseball, and having Noelvi Marte come back just for the glove alone will help this team, as you just said. The Reds were 20-30 not that long ago. They are now 32-34. Is this the team that we all thought they'd be? Is this just a team on an incredible hot streak as started against Los Angeles right here at GABP? Then you got to play Colorado in that fun park they have, and the offense is just all the way back? Or is this just one of those streaks you see? We've had a cold streak, and maybe this is just a hot streak. What do you think this is? What do you think we're seeing right now from the Reds?
It's funny you asked me that, because I had that exact title, or I guess kind of vibe article written and posted today, and I had the exact same thought. Like, is this the turning point where you look back at the end of the year and say, "Oh man, they swept the Dodgers, 7-game winning streak against okay talent and bad talent, Cubs, not Rockies," and then it's okay, here's the momentum they needed. Is this kind of, we hit rock bottom, now what's the climb? Is the climb, oh my gosh, historical, awesome, they'll write a book about this season? Or is it, okay, we're 500, we took some steps forward, some steps backwards, but still building good going into next year? Or is it just something we forget about in August? Like, oh yeah, we won 7 games, but like, and that's the thing about winning streaks that's tough. You play 162 games, like, you're going to have streaks. No matter what. You either win or you lose. So, like, I mean, I know it's not a 50-50 chance, but, like, if I flipped a coin 162 times, like, I'll have some streaks in there, too.
Yeah.
Like, and I get the percentages there, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. So, to me, it really depends. Like, this week specifically is a big measuring stick. And it's not, oh, you have to win all 5 games against Guardians and Brewers or else you're done. It's how do we look in those games? I'm on the team.
Yeah.
Is it really embarrassing and we're really far away and, oh, man, this isn't what we thought it would be? Or is it kind of a, hey, we held our own, we won some, and we're competitive this week? Like, I think it's a huge week in the season, as big as a week can be in mid-June.
I think you're right, and I think people get confused. Like there's the fan base that says, you're not built for 162, and it's because you overreact, and I'm guilty of it for sure, of overreacting to losses that happen. A bad 9th inning game. My whole thing is what you said. It's that how do they look? How are they looking? And offensively, for a month and a half, they looked like the world's worst baseball team. It's how they looked. I didn't care if they won or lost. I just want them to be competitive, and that's really my mantra. For every season the Reds play, just be competitive, be there towards September, get me into somewhat of contention, look good, have fun, make the baseball games exciting, and they've done that over the past couple weeks for sure. Moving on to Graham Ashcraft real quick, I don't think anybody thought that he was going to get sent down, especially this early in the season. I don't think this is the last we've seen of him. But do you think this is going to be the last we've seen him for a while? Because I think Carson Spires right now is the hot hand. If you had to pick between the two, and with Brandon Williamson coming back, he certainly has lost that 5th spot. When do you think is the next time we'll see Graham Ashcraft?
I just think it's time for Ashcraft to go to the bullpen. I mean, that's what I think. I know they probably won't right now, but the thing with Ashcraft is he doesn't have enough pitches that move in different directions. Yeah. Right, so they're moving in the same direction. He really needs to either have another additional pitch, or he needs to go to the bullpen and have his stuff play up. Can he get to 98 to 100? Can he then have a secondary offering? Because you don't need that many pitches out of the bullpen. So I personally think that was kind of the long-term plan with him now. Like, I think he's kind of reached a point where it's like, okay, you've had a year and a half or 2.5 years, I guess, now of starting. Yeah. It's been okay. Like, it's not awful. It was at points last year. But he could be a really good bullpen arm. So, like, why not do that? Inexpensive control, all that stuff we love to throw around as a cheap team. And that can be it. Like you said, Carson Spires really impressed. And, like, he was a guy I kind of thought was, like, okay, like, yeah, he'll be fine to have around, and he's completely proven me wrong. He looks much better. Now, I'm not saying hold up, trade louder because we have Carson Spires or anything like that, but I think they can afford to move Graham to the bullpen. Williamson and Spires can hold down the rotation depth 5 spot for now. Nick Martinez is still there, and if it looks bad at the deadline, you move somebody, whatever happens, like Louder could potentially, depending on how things go with him, be able to fill in as well. Like, let's say there's a September injury or whatever, and you're struggling. If you're out of it doesn't really matter either way. Give my boy Randy Wynn in Louisville a start. Why not?
I agree. Did he play 1 game last year or 2? Oh, no. What a freeze.
That's an incredible. Oh, there it is.
That's a good one.
What happened?
We got you. No, you froze for 1 second. It was a very funny freeze. What you said? It was just 1 game. You said?
Yeah, I believe it was 1 game, and he's pitched well. He's like 31 years old. Just kind of like, I really want to talk to him and just kind of like hear how that lifestyle is. I know there's been a million things written like that, but I always find each individual story so interesting. Like, what drives you to come to the ballpark every day and make little money and have poor accommodations just to chase this dream.
One minor leaguer that I wanted to talk about real quick is a guy I think a lot of people thought maybe would come up to the Reds this season if everything was right, if somebody got injured for a little bit. Connor Phillips. I don't know what happened to Connor Phillips. He has a 9 ERA through 12 starts down in the minors. Is this just one of the world's worst seasons? Is it injury related? Is it mental health related? I can't ask you to speak on something you don't know about, but what's going on with our guy Connor Phillips? Because this seems to be a lost season completely.
I think the red flags are just gotten worse. Like, I think we kind of looked past them because we see highlights on Twitter, and in the lower minors, his stuff's gross. Like, it is absolutely gross. Lower minors, he would not be able to locate it, work back into the count with the fastball because they couldn't hit his fastball. Gets higher up in the organization, the control is just not there. The command is awful. He's not able to work back with the fastball at the higher levels. The players are better. The majors, like right now, he has no major league value at this point, like for this season. Like, I don't see him as an option this year at all. I think it's time to like send him to Arizona, like the development list, like get him right. If it is a mental health thing, obviously we have no idea, and I'm not about to speculate saying this is in between his, that's totally inappropriate. But if that's the case, like get him in a position where he can just focus. I think Brandon Finnegan, if I remember right, had a situation where he kind of like was removed from affiliated team ball and like kind of worked on some things, and they tried to get him straightened out. But right now, like if you don't have enough command, like okay, try him as a reliever. That's typically the route. And if that doesn't work, like sorry, like it's not going to be the first time. And I know that there's kind of the civil war on Reds Twitter of prospects trading, keeping all that stuff, and they'll take a victory lap here, but I don't think his career is like over or anything like that. Like I don't think there's zero chance. But in terms of this season, like I just don't possibly see how he can get to a point where you could trust him at the major league level.
I agree, and I think there's a couple names above him already that I would.
And they're climbing faster. I mean, he is falling extremely fast in that organizational depth chart. I couldn't care less where he is on top prospect. Reds list, like doesn't matter at all because we've seen him get passed over, and I bet you just off the top of my head, 4 or 5 minor league guys I'd rather see before him.
You spoke about command there. One guy that I think is still having issue with his command, and a guy that I don't know whether or not I can trust anymore, is Alexis Diaz. He's pitched better over his last 5 games. But saying that, it's been a bad season for our guy Alexis Diaz. He's still your closer, I think. But moving forward, is there a chance the Reds look to ship him? If they're competitive enough at the deadline, maybe he can warrant some value from what he's done in the past. You'd obviously be selling low. But do you trust Alexis Diaz going forward as the closer of the Cincinnati Reds?
He is a very frustrating pitcher for the obvious reasons. If you've watched one Alexis Diaz start, you may say, this guy's the best pitcher ever. Holy crap. If you've watched 2 outings, not starts, if you've watched 2, you're thinking, who the hell is this guy? Like, he can be on and off that way.
Yeah.
To me, you just keep him and you just maybe change the situation he's thrown in. We saw that with his brother in New York, actually, but I don't think there's any reason to trade him. First, relief pitchers rarely get much in return at all.
Correct.
Rarely. And second off, like you're selling low, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like bring him back. Like we've seen bullpen arms have up and down years, left and right and left and right. It's not that. Now, like you said though, the command is the issue with him. How do you improve that? I just don't think he will. Like he just hasn't throughout his career in the minors. Like I don't really know. Like you don't want to recreate him and like try to make him something he's not. But it's going to be really tough to get him, especially like the way he throws. Like I don't know. I just don't see like mechanically, and I'm not a pitching coach, believe it or not. But I really don't know like how you fix that, especially in a short amount of time.
I agree with you, and hopefully he becomes the guy that he was at the beginning of last season, beginning to the middle of last season. But I don't know, I don't see it. As we wind down, Clay, thank you very much for coming on. MLB and Reds contributor for again Just Baseball Media. Go follow them on Twitter. Go read all of their articles. They do great work. I got two questions, and I got one Tigers question for you because you are the greatest Tigers reporter in the history of the world. The National League, it's pretty bad. I don't know if it's been this bad in a long time. I'm looking at the wild card teams, and it seems like they're all kind of the same type of team. None of them are really that good. Could you really see any of them winning a World Series? Probably not. But what's the magic number to get that final wild card spot this year? Coming into it, I would have said 87. I think right now it's like 83. I think 83 gets into the postseason.
It's that meme that's like Battle of Mid.
Yeah.
That people use on Twitter. Like, this is the time to use it. Like, there are so many mediocre to okay baseball teams in the National League, and it's kind of sad. I think it was yesterday, that 20 teams were under 500.
Oh yeah,
in the entire league. It's not at a point where it's like, oh, baseball's bad, we need to be concerned, like everyone sucks and these owners and whatnot. But it is a little concerning that there's just like not stronger rosters in the National League. I look at someone like the Giants, and I'm just kind of like, not great. And then you look at Arizona, and like, yeah, they're exciting, and young, like, okay. But at the end of the day, there's just not a whole lot going on there, and maybe that's obviously going to be in the Reds' favor.
Yeah,
84. I think it'll be a little bit higher. Keep in mind, this time of the year starts to warm up mid-June through the rest of the summer. Usually offense picks up. So I'm going to go 86.
86 is still pretty high. Okay, that's fair. I got one more Reds question. It is, who has been your MVP through 66 games of this season? I'll give the caveat just for the sake of entertainment. You can't say Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay. MVP. Oh, gosh. Hunter Green. I don't know why my mind defaulted towards like somebody in the lineup, but
yeah,
Hunter Green, and really you can say a few guys in the rotation, but I just think he's taken that step forward and kind of solidified, instead of it being every third start's really good or once a month, or here's kind of up and down, half of first part of a start's good, second part's bad, or whatever. He just is more consistent. And this is something I always say about pitchers. Go look at the first few years of their career and how much they all change. Pitch usage, pitch mix, tunneling, like all kinds of arm slots. Like, things change a lot as you're learning how to adapt at the major league level. And I think he's found it, and he's starting to hit his grooves right now. So I'll go with Green.
That's a good. I think that's my answer as well. Final question for Clay. Clay Stoden, thank you very much for coming on. The Detroit Tigers. We have the super fan in here, Jimmy Collins. He was very sad about Big Torque. Torque was sent down. It appears that his career is now over. What are your thoughts on Big Torque, his demotion to the minor leagues?
1-1 pick in 2020. That was a weird draft, but he can hit velocity. How can you not hit fastballs and be a first baseman? You provide nothing defensively. To me, it's like, okay, the guy hit 30 home runs, and now he's in Toledo, where they just announced they're going to have a Harry Potter jersey night with like a scarf on the jersey. Imagine being like, yeah, I hit 30 big league home runs last year, and now there's kids yelling at me during the loud meter, and I'm wearing this Harry Potter scarf jersey. Like, life comes at you fast, and if you can't hit a fastball, you can't lift and pull when you're a guy like Torque, it's going to be a quick ride for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating. Jimmy, thanks for coming on the show. I have one more question for you about the Tigers as well. Obviously, Tarek Skubal has been terrific this year, and in my opinion, the best pitcher in baseball right now. And so one question I have for you is, obviously, I'm sure you've seen it a lot on Twitter, Tigers fans talking about, should we trade him? Should we keep him? Should we at least look at the market? And I personally think that that's ridiculous, because we haven't had a pitcher of his caliber since Justin Verlander. So I was wondering what you think they should do.
Yeah, no, it's something that I have debated a lot on Twitter as well. And my thing is, the typical, and this can apply to anything in baseball with like the Reds too, but the idea of like, we're not winning this year, this player is getting close, like trading, like I get all that and it makes sense. There's caveats and exceptions to each rule. When you have the best pitcher or top 3 or whatever you want to label him as, a talent like Tarek Skubal, 2.5 years of control left, you don't trade him. You just don't. You're a 500 team. You have a young core. You have 4 or 5 top 100 prospects, all in double or triple A besides 2 which are about to go to high A and couldn't move fast. Like, this isn't a team that's the Chicago White Sox moving Garrett Crochet. That makes sense. That team is so far away. They really don't have like any core pieces up. So the Tigers have a decent young core and an elite pitcher with 2.5 years of control. Mm-hmm. Focus this offseason. Oh, they can't get bats. Cool. Trade Jack Flaherty. Draft a bat. Sign a bat. Like, there's other avenues besides moving your best pitcher. Next year, if it looks worse, things aren't going right, talk about it at that deadline. Because if it's, we're not going to compete in 2 years. Okay, but are you going to in year 3? If not, trade Riley Green too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where does it stop?
Right.
I think people have kind of, fans especially, have tapped into this idea of like control equals immense value. Like, we should trade players earlier and earlier and earlier. You'll never win if you do that. I mean, what's the point of following all this if you're not looking for wins? Sorry, I know that was long.
No, you're good. You're good. We are late for a break, but thank you very much, Clay. Listen, we're a big time. I know you do some other radio shows with our good friend Chad Brendel, but here on this radio show, we got to get to a break. Thank you very much, Clay. Thank you for your slanderous tweet about me, some guy getting drilled in the head with a baseball. I really enjoyed that. That was fun for all of us.
Deny it all you want. We will settle this on the tennis court.
We will settle it on a tennis court. You can find Clay writing about every bad team in Major League Baseball. Go just search for any of them, and you'll find him there. Clay, thank you very much for coming on. That is it, ESPN 1410. We are late for a break. We'll see you guys in a bit.
See you, Clay.
And welcome back. I was just waiting for you to do it.
Welcome back to Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. That was a long segment. Might have to break that one up into 2 post.
Good news is Justin Kinner also does this, so we're fine. Justin Kinner, I think, when we interviewed Sam LeCure, I think he did like a 45-minute interview.
Yeah. Tommy Thaw yesterday was over 30.
Yeah, so I think we're good on that department.
We'll teach you a little inside radio.
Yeah.
Elliot knows this. It's called the touch and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be right back.
No, not that quick.
You touched it and you went.
So right now, just again, this is just for my sake. I'm going to speak out loud here. We are only, what is that? We're 11 minutes over. So we're fine. We're just 11 minutes over. We'll get that back.
Okay.
This will just be a shorter segment.
Okay.
Shorter Reds segment, that is, to finish it off. Some Reds talk here, I guess.
Yeah, so one segment that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is obviously the Ohio Cup starts tonight. It's the most prestigious piece of metal. That bothers you guys. Rob Manfred said that. It doesn't bother me a whole lot. I think.
Why? It's blatant disrespect.
Well, here's the thing: is like
given the context
Reed
of
has
that.
a good take on this, though.
But like the trophy isn't. I know it's the prize at the end of the season, but that's not what. Like, I don't care about the trophy. I don't care about the trophy at all. Like, I want to win the championship. It's the process of winning it. It's not the trophy.
Sure, but nobody's out here disrespecting the Lombardi Trophy. So like,
listen, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, I don't ever need to see the Lombardi Trophy. I don't need they could throw it in the freaking river for all I care. I don't care about it at all.
Like Tom Brady on that boat.
I don't care about the trophy at all.
I get your. I don't nobody cares about the trophy, but
that's all Rob Manfred was saying.
But it's the principle of the thing. It's
he wasn't belittling the World Series. He was belittling the trophy.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like that's what we were asking you to strip the title. We weren't asking you to strip the trophy. We were asking you to strip their title.
Which is the joke that we've always said about USC when they strip their title. When people get stripped of the titles, the joke is, I saw them win it.
Yeah.
I have those memories. I saw that happen. You taking away the title means very little. It means very little. In fact, I think more teams should poke fun at it. I don't know if they do or not, but like if you do get a title stripped, like you can't have a banner hung, but like you could just have a banner. Like you can't say World Series champs 2017 Houston Astros. If that gets stripped, why don't you just like have a banner that just says 2017 and it says nothing else? Like maybe you just put duct tape over world champions and you poke fun at it. Like you can't take that away. And I think that's the whole point that Rob Manfred was making when he said that, was he just said it's a trophy. Like everyone has those memories. Everyone saw the Houston Astros win the World Series, and I agree with that. I don't care about a trophy at all.
We have breaking news.
Oh, baby.
Uh-oh.
The cover of Madden just dropped. It is not Joe Burrow.
Whoa.
It dropped
Who
today?
is it?
It just came out, officially dropped.
Who is it?
Christian McCaffrey is on the cover of Madden.
Whoa.
25.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Good for him. Good for him.
Has he been yet? Has he been on the
He
cover?
is not.
No.
He is not. So good for him. Glad Joe's not on there with the injury history and everything
Well-
like that. The Madden curse.
Oh, that cover
See,
was-
that's-
that
Glad
cover
to
looks
get that
good.
off.
See,
back.
we
It's
were
a
gonna
good-looking cover.
do a whole thing on that later, but the thing about the Joe Burrow Madden cover jinx and stuff like that. First off, I mean Patrick Mahomes was on it. I mean Josh Allen's been on it.
Josh Allen's won a lot.
Lamar Jackson. Well, I'm just saying, like the injury thing gets hurt more. Like he's already injured, bro. That didn't change anything for me. I'd be scared for CMC. If you believe in curses, which based on recent events in the baseball world of amateur sports, I'm starting to believe in curses. But yeah, I don't know. The CMC that's cool. I mean, I would have liked Joe Burrow to get it. I think more people were worried than excited. I was actually excited. Were you guys worried or excited that Joe Burrow was going to be on it?
Worried, and then if I would have seen him on the cover, I would have gotten excited. So yeah, now that he's not on it, I'm all good.
So Nate Seltzer just put in that Drew Sample DS89 is not at practice today. Where's that tweet, Chef?
Oh, no.
Where's that tweet, Ian Rappaport? Huh? Why aren't you tweeting about Drew Sample? Do you not realize that this offense runs around Drew Sample? He's the straw that stirs the drink. DS89 in open space. Where's that tweet? That's all I want.
Yeah, I'm looking for the tweet as well. I'm not finding anything. That's probably because nobody cares. But listen, Drew Sample, I will say, there were 2 bits last year. Trace on the, why am I forgetting his name? Backup quarterback. Help me out.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning. Jake the Snake. I don't know how I forgot that. And then it was your bit with Drew Sample. Both those players turned out to be very good, if not serviceable at the very least. So shout out to you two. You guys were right.
You give me too much credit for that. Like I foresaw that Drew Sample was actually going to be a the bit is that he was worth nothing. The joke was that he was terrible, and we were like, we weren't laughing with Drew Sample. We were laughing at Drew Sample. Then he scored 2 touchdowns, and it all worked out. And we love Drew Sample. Now he's getting paid $5 million.
Did he have the best touchdown of the season last year?
Which one? The one
bowling
where
ball?
the bowling
The
ball,
bowling
or
ball.
or the one where he jumped over?
Rumbling, stumbling.
The bowling ball was at a point in the season that didn't matter.
Yeah.
That was what, Vikings?
I think so.
No, but
Those
that
Colts?
mattered. That game mattered.
I guess we were kind of scrapping with Jake Browning. That was a Jake Browning touchdown.
Yeah.
Right.
The first Drew Sample touchdown was against the Bills when we were red hot, just beat the 49ers. That was awesome. That was the first touchdown of the game. That was like 75-1 on Drew Sample. They probably didn't even offer odds for that one, but he jumped over a guy.
Oh yeah, it's
nimble.
It's one of those two, or the T Higgins touchdown was the touchdown of the year.
The
So-
T Higgins
Yeah,
touchdown
that
is
was
actually
incredible.
one of the cooler touchdowns I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree.
legitimately one of the cooler touchdowns I've ever seen in my life.
That was another game. Bengals kind of pulled a miracle out of their hat there. That was fun.
You
But
hate
yeah,
when that happens.
Uh-huh.
You hate when that happens.
I hate when what happens.
You hate when the
Bengals
Bengals
win
win.
What a terrible bit that is.
Other breaking news around the NFL.
Sling it, Big Pimpin'.
Aaron Rodgers will not be at minicamp for the Jets because he, quote, has an event that is very important to him to attend. What could that be?
Yeah, he doesn't hang out with his family.
Yeah, no
it's not,
family,
it's not
no
a brother's.
friends.
It's not a brother's wedding. It's not. He's not. Certainly, if Aaron Rodgers is the best man at your wedding, you need better friends. So it's not that.
Wonder if RFK has a debate coming up.
It's,
I was gonna say,
it's
is the-
got to be a campaign thing.
Is
political.
It's got to be a political
or
campaign.
I was gonna say,
thing.
is the RNC convention in town? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is a guy, like, if he's bad this year, he's going to turn his legacy into nothing.
Well, here's the thing about Aaron, because he was one of the more fun watches that we've seen from a quarterback ever, really ever. And Aaron has just been so exhausting. It's truly exhausting everything that is clouded the last 5-6 years. To where you're just like, golly, like Aaron Rodgers' name pops up on your Twitter. It used to be exciting, like, oh, what's this goofball up to? What's this guy getting into now? Now you see Aaron Rodgers' name come across your X feed, and you're just like, not this again. I'm tired of Aaron. I'm over Aaron. And you know what? I bet he certainly still has something left in him.
100%.
Even with the injury that he had last year, that this Jets team, they can't get worse. Offensively, they couldn't get worse. So even with a hobbled Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be better. It's just, I don't know. He's truly exhausting. Truly exhausting.
If he's bad this season, I'm gonna get real tired of it. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a serviceable quarterback. I think he's going to be a good top 12 quarterback in the NFL. But if he is bad, it's going to be very funny.
Colton just put in there, is that Rodgers' fault or the media's fault? See, this is what I hate about the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Is he acts like he is persecuted. Dude, you bring it on yourself. I'm not going to do the whole vaccination thing, but he's like, oh, it's because I'm not vaxxed. It's like, you know who else isn't vaxxed? Lamar Jackson and Kirk Cousins. Do you hear anything bad said about them? Does anyone care? No. Aaron has to be the center of attention and then whines when he is the center of attention. That's what's exhausting about it. Like, he has to be at the forefront of controversy and the whole thing. And then when he is, he's like, why are you guys so mean to me? It's similar to what I do with the Cubs and the Reds. I talk crap about the Reds, and then when the Reds lose to the Cubs lose to the Reds, I'm like, why are you guys so mean? It's the exact same thing. It's so frustrating. It's just he has become something that I don't even care about anymore. That's what it is. Like, I don't even care what he says anymore.
Yeah, it's become a shtick. It's become a shtick that, to be quite honest, I mean, nobody's really enjoying at this point. So good luck to Aaron Rodgers. It should be a fun season, at least for the Jets. Do you think Do you think Aaron Rodgers will finish the season?
Do we think he'll finish the first drive?
Monday Night Football again.
Over under 1.5 drives for Aaron Rodgers.
This season?
I would take the under.
Remember that? Timeout. That's another thing. You remember that? While we're talking about, like, oh, the media does him dirty. This is a prime example of Aaron Rodgers having to be at the center of conversation. Remember at the end of the season, he started this rumor, I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the first person ever to come back from Achilles injury at age 38. Like, and I'm going to be, he made it all about himself. And then it turned out not to be true.
But he almost did it. He was walking.
And then he took away that dude's paycheck, and then and then he got so much backlash because he wanted to be on the field. He wanted to be an active roster member so he could be the first person to ever come back from Achilles injury, even though he was never playing. And then he get all the backlash. Hey, you took away this guy who probably needs that money. You took away his paycheck, and he's like, all right, well, I'll give him some money then. It's just he has to be the center of everything, and that's just what's so frustrating. That's what's frustrating. And then, you know what? A lot of people are like that. Heck, I'm even like that. Where I go into a room, I got to make things about Rita-Roo. And it's exhausting for other people when I hang out with them. So I'm
in the same boat as Rita-Roo.
Right.
I do the same exact thing. That's what it is to be a little bit of a showboat, a showman. But you know what? To each their own. Who do you think Aaron Rodgers will be cheering for in the Ohio Cup?
Ooh. Certainly not the Reds, not the Commies.
Oh, come on.
Well, he's not rooting for the Guardians after they changed their name.
Yeah, they're woke.
True.
They're too woke.
The woke
or
Guardians?
the Commies.
Reds.
I think he's going Reds. It's recency bias. It's whatever happened more recently. And the Red Scare was a long time ago.
Shout out to the Red Scare for having the Reds change their name
Yeah.
to the Red Legs.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't know that until you brought that up.
Right.
Weeks ago.
Well, yeah, it was in the 50s. And then they, like, 5 years passed. They're like, all right, I don't think anyone's
back.
actually considering us to be communists. So, like, it would be funny. Imagine opening a Cincinnati Enquirer newspaper in, like, 1957, and it would be like, the Reds threaten democracy again as the Reds fall to the Chicago Cubs.
Segment
7-2.
3 after headlines on Wednesday of Off the Bench are the Reds communists. Like, we should do that next losing
That's
streak.
actually a good tease. Are the Reds communists? You'll find out about that and more coming up next on ESPN 1410, the best sports coverage in the Miami Valley. Thank you for tuning in, listening on your car or radio. We'll be right back with you.
All right.
Casey Rue.
I'm here. I'm actually on the show.
He's on the show, and he's ready to go.
Ready to go. Encore Technologies, that's a sponsor we have. They provide IT solutions for a data-centered world.
Really?
A suite of services from mobile computing, desktop to data center, supporting both centralized work mobile computing modules to improve efficiency and
Productivity.
productivity.
Hey, Jim, throw me that chicken. Didn't think,
That was odd.
I bet you guys didn't think I'd catch them both.
That was impressive.
I
That
bet
was
you didn't
awesome.
think I'd catch them both, but I did. Next sponsor.
Well, I didn't finish that one.
Oh, finish the sponsor.
Visit encore.tech. The path to innovation begins here,
Where?
right here.
Oh, that's convenient.
That is very convenient. Pawnee Water, made right here in Hamilton, Ohio, uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing other brands use. The result is a healthy alkaline water, and some say the best tasting water in the world. Visit Pawnee Water at PAHHNIwater.com so you can buy this great tasting water.
Pawnee guys would love a pallet. If you're watching, we would love a pallet.
They're not. They turn it off at 11:02, like Nate says.
Yeah, they're too. We're late because they don't watch.
All right, that's it. That's our sponsor.
Thanks, Casey. I love your smiling face.
You do a great job,
I hope you have a
Reed.
lot of threes tonight and a couple twos.
I would love some twos.
Mix it on one.
I'll have a couple threes, but
What,
not
will you have any
I don't know
one?
if I'll get a three.
to be fair and frank, I haven't been participating much because I'm actually trying to like do a second job on the side, trying to learn this
You always
audio
are.
mixer here because we kind of need it for the new setup. So I've been messing with Jimmy's mic, but probably no one notices on.
Well, yeah, I don't have a headset on.
Yeah,
so
no one's
I don't
gonna
hear
know.
anything,
Yeah.
So,
I think they knew it. They were complaining.
talking
do you guys
about him.
do you guys ever listen to like the podcast or playbacks or stuff like that, and you're like, that sounds so much different than what it feels like in the
Yeah.
studio?
Yeah.
Like I do that all the time, where I'll watch a clip and just be like, that's not how it felt in real time.
No.
But yeah, so be it. So be it. All right, we're coming back.
We're going to come back just to let everybody know we have two 11-minute segments.
Two
11-minute segments for the radio.
That's 22 minutes of content
Correct.
with a 5-second pause in between.
Correct.
Okay.
You're on your game.
I'm
Rita Roo's ready to roll, baby.
Let's go. All right. And we are back on Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. Last two segments of the show, Reed Mouse, Casey McAllister, Elliot Rearing, Jacob Tissett, and Jimmy Collins. I gave Casey a more of a break between the necks because of how important he is, right? So he gets a longer breath because we need to know that Casey's here. Casey does a fantastic job. So Ohio Cup. Are the Guardians rivals with the Reds? That's the question I want to know. Because if we have a trophy, there is a trophy that they play for, one that sits up north more than it sits down south. Do you consider the Guardians rivals?
I'm looking at the schedule right now. You play every team in Major League Baseball. They made that rule a couple years ago. I'm convinced they're not a top 25 rival that the Reds have. I can make
Top 25?
I could go 20
I can make an argument
What,
that they
all
might
15,
be like
all 14 other National League teams?
for sure.
correct.
The Marlins over the Guardians?
Yeah.
100%. Skip Schumacher. It's a revenge game every time we play. That's a fact. That's a fact, Jack.
Let's break it down.
The
Who
Athletics
is
from the
actu-
90 World Series.
Yep.
Got that rivalry sticking
Yankees?
around.
Yankees and Red
for
Sox from
sure.
75, 76.
No question about it.
White Sox from 1919.
Yep.
The Orioles, young core versus young core.
Who did they play in? What was it, 48? Who was their 40s World Championship against? I don't know. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I would be the only one in the room that would know that one.
Yeah, I can't believe I don't know that one. The Seattle Mariners, that's a team Nick Krall just trades every season with, so they're a rival always.
For sure.
We have, who else is left?
The Tigers, because of Jimmy, they're a rival.
Tigers because of Jimmy, that's
Sure.
correct. The Rangers are not. So the Rangers are not a rival.
The first one below.
Yeah, they're the first one not a rival.
1940, the Reds beat the Tigers in 7 games in the
What did
World
I say?
Series.
Thoughts, Jimmy?
Probably a great series. 7 games.
7 games to win 7. Game 7 was a 2-1 win at Crosley Field
Wow.
on October 8th. Paul Deringer beat Bobo Newsom.
Take that, Bobo.
That was
Take that, Bobo.
Definitely a great series. 7 games, 2-1.
They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning off the bat of Jimmy Ripple
Ooh.
and Jimmy Wilson.
Wow, a lot of Jimmies.
Actually, no, Billy Myers, the shortstop. So that's your little history. All right, seriously though, we'll give all NL Central teams.
Angels are not a rival either.
I'd put the Rangers above the Guardians. Josh Hamilton trade.
You're right. I forgot about that one. Also, Kansas City, not a rival. Well, no.
Bobby Witt versus Ellie for who's the best young shortstop in the game.
Or the revenge of Moose. We want to get revenge on them for
He's not
Moose.
on that team anymore.
Yeah, but you get the point. Red Sox. Anybody else we're missing? I think
If we're being serious though,
Baltimore's
obviously,
not a rival either. Baltimore's not a rival.
didn't they lose to Baltimore in like the 70s in the World Series?
Yeah.
pretty
It's
sure.
also
they did.
young core versus young core.
Yeah, the Guardians then aren't just a rival at all.
Okay, let's do this for real. All NL Central teams are a rival over the Guardians.
For sure.
Correct. I mean, even the Pirates.
That's
even
a fact.
Okay. They've got to be right after that. No.
No way, dude.
No. I would quite literally say the rest of the National League.
If you play these teams 7 times in a
4
season,
times.
The
a
Mets
year.
mean nothing.
The
Yeah, they
Guardians
do.
means nothing.
Jonathan India's dad watches the Mets. We're trying to beat the Mets.
For Mr. India.
You can try to make me be serious about this, and I'll never be serious because they're not a rival. And this Ohio Cup nonsense is so terrible.
Is this just protecting yourself because you guys haven't won the Cup in
If
10
the
years?
Reds
You haven't won
dominated the
the-
Ohio Cup, I would
Correct.
have them ranked number 1 by a country mile. In
right.
rivalries.
That's
I mean,
right.
It wouldn't even be close. We would
Yeah,
have 5 segments on
Red-
the Ohio Cup if the Reds won this every
The
year.
Reds are so bad in the Ohio Cup that it's lost its luster. It's a lot like Xavier versus UC at this point.
Oh,
If
so
they just show
UC
up.
is not rivaled with Xavier.
Correct.
But Xavier is rivaled with UC.
Yes, it's their Super Bowl.
That is funny how that works. There's actually no better way to belittle a rivalry than calling it the other team's Super Bowl after they win.
That's the best.
That's the best. Like when
Barstool
when
UC is
beat,
the first one to say it every single time, and it's
You
so
love-
annoying.
you
when
love
UC beat Notre
bad.
Dame up in South Bend, the joke was this was their Super Bowl.
It was.
Right? There you go. There
And
you
I'll
go.
actually stand by it. That
Yeah,
was
it
UC
was.
Super Bowl. That was like it felt like the Super Bowl when I was there watching it. That we won the Super Bowl. Like that. Do you know how good of a feeling that is? We won it, and they're never gonna play it again because we beat them on their home turf.
That was a good Notre Dame team too.
That's a shame. It's a real shame that Brian Kelly killed your team.
True.
They'll be good. They'll be good again.
I was
They'll be
good. I could have made another joke there, but I didn't because I'm respectful.
I know.
That was very respectful. That was on a tee too.
That
I can
was.
feel
You put it on yourself.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put
This
it on
was-
yourself.
If this
but
was
it was
the
on a
YouTube,
tee.
if this was the YouTube show, I would have ran around the bases in the studio. I would have. It was that easy. I had it written up in my head. Oh, it was going to be so good, but that's okay.
You're Dwayne Wade and LeBron in that.
Correct.
Just write to yourself.
In all seriousness, they're going to split this. They're going to split these
Because
two
that's what
games.
they've done
Of
the
course.
last. So they've tied the last 3 Ohio Cups. Is this for a 4-peat?
I think
If
so.
you win tonight, do they just carry over?
If we win tonight, I'll stamp an Ohio Cup win. Because a split
Wow.
goes to the Reds.
Why?
A split does go to the Reds. He's right
Come on,
about
Jimmy.
that.
Do you not know the rules of the Ohio Cup?
No, I don't.
Well, look them up.
The team that has their name the longest gets to win
The
the cup.
team at home first wins the split.
Correct.
Seriously, that's how it works? Oh no, you got to win it outright.
Gotta win it out.
Did you think he was serious?
Yeah, I did.
You play 4 games. Your split's a split.
So if you split, it just stays in Cleveland.
Is there a trophy?
There's legitimately a
There
trophy.
is
There
a
is a
trophy.
medal, there is a
I
trophy.
was looking
We
it
should
up.
actually do that. We should have
Could we get it in the studio?
no. We should have 4 pictures.
I should ask.
We should have 4 pictures of trophies, and try to pick out which one is the Ohio Cup.
Can we do that?
That's the cherry on top tonight. Is we're gonna have to today. Is we're gonna put. I'm gonna send them to Casey. I'm gonna send 4 different pictures, and at the end of the show, I'm gonna have Jacob pick out which one is the Ohio Cup.
All right, I won't look it up. I
I'm
promise I won't
pretty
look it up.
sure
look it up.
their logos are on the trophy,
That won't help.
but they've had to have a new trophy because the Guardians got a new
True.
logo a
It's
couple
true.
years back.
True.
They got a new logo a couple years back and a new team name. So
I've never
have
seen.
they replaced it? Does it still say their old team name?
I don't know. They would have to, right? Because it was still the franchise.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
I looked it up. When
do
we
they
started
give it? Do
talking
they give
about
it to the
so-
team after a win?
On the field?
Yeah. Is there a
the
trophy?
There is a celebration. They
would have to
actually
be after game
Rob Manfred
3.
actually respects this trophy,
Yeah.
He actually brings this one out, and he's like, it's the most prestigious trophy in our sport.
Manfred will be there.
A trophy
this week.
ceremony.
Yeah.
On the field.
Well, no, whenever the series is determined.
The second two.
Yeah.
I think that is second to last game of the year, or games of the year. So end with 3 against the Cubs.
Is it in October?
September 24th and 25th.
Oh.
October
how great would it be?
Cup.
How great would it be if I told you guys that you were winning a trophy in October?
I would bump the rivalry up a couple spots.
Well, that is after fall. Fall starts September 21. So
Fall
mark
baseball.
it down that the Reds will win a trophy in fall. This fall. There you go. And that's the segment.
That will be a fun segment if you do that. I have another segment. I know we're running low on time here, but
let's take a break and let's do it.
okay. All right, fine. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it. So we'll be right back on 1410 Wing AM. You're listening to Off the Bench. Welcome back to ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM, your home for sports in the Miami Valley, the valley of the Miami Rivers, Great Miami and the Little Miami, or the Hamilton River, as Elliot calls it. Elliot, you were pitching a segment for this final segment.
I saw it on Twitter, and if you didn't see it, read the Minnesota Twins have announced their City Connect. I don't know. Have you seen it?
I've not.
So it's basically the Phillies City Connect. It's that blue and yellow, and it's just the most boring, adult softball league jersey you've ever seen. I saw it on Twitter, this debate, and I wanted to have it with you guys. Has the MLB, has Major League Baseball lost the war with the City Connects? Is it an outright?
Have the City Connects lost its luster?
Have the City Connects been an outright failure for Major League Baseball? And I'll start with my side of things. Baseball is a sport where traditions run rampant. You want to be as old as you can. The Yankees haven't changed their jersey in 100 years. And ironically enough, the Yankees denied participation in the City Connect thing. So the Yankees will not get one. They're just sticking with the pinstripes. I'm on the side of trying a new jersey, having that idea, having that different sort of vibe with your team. Like Friday night City Connects, that's kind of fun to me. Saying that, I would say about 70% of these jerseys are outright terrible. I think they've failed in what it means to be a City Connect. I think Wrigley did a good job. Mm-hmm. I think the Red Sox, I don't like the Red Sox jersey itself, but I like the meaning behind it, as Jacob says. I like the Reds jersey a lot. I like they got the city slogan on there. They stuck with the vibe. But then there's the other teams. It's like the Phillies and the Twins. You just did yellow and blue for no reason, and nobody understands why. There's so many of these jerseys. The Baltimore Orioles one. I know Jacob likes it. It just says Baltimore. That's it, yeah. And then there's a B on that. That's not City Connect. What are we even doing? I think if you have to look back at it and you have to say, did we fail when we tried this? I think the answer is yes.
Well, the Tigers have something connected to their city, right? Yeah. They got the tires on it because that's where they make automobiles. They're hideous. Yeah. The thing that I've always hated, and this is coming from the old head baseball thing, is I don't like, you mentioned, they look like slow pitch softball uniforms. Yeah. I remember playing travel baseball, and my dad, our coach, would say the other team wearing black pants or something like that. He's like, we're going to kill this team. Yeah. It's because they're dressed up like they're playing softball. Yeah. And listen, I like the classic white or grays. But every City Connect jersey has colored pants, and maybe that's just the game changing. But I agree with you. I don't like the pants always having some weird color to them.
I think the cool part about the City Connect uniform is all the small details that come with
certainly
the slogan on the Reds one, or even just Motor City on the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. But then I feel like they're just taking it too far. They're trying to do too much with connecting it to the city to the point where people just think that it looks bad. And I think the classic baseball, the white home jerseys and the gray road jerseys, and maybe you have a third jersey that is City Connect that just has the city nickname. It would be cool if the Tigers just said Motor City and it was the Tigers colors. Mm-hmm. I would enjoy that. And I like how the Reds is just Cincy. But then when you add stuff like the tire tracks or blue and yellow, or it just
or polka dots the Dodgers have.
It just doesn't make sense. It's simplistic is better in baseball, in my opinion. Yeah. So I wish that when they had this idea, which was a good idea.
It was a great idea at the start.
It works in the NBA, I think.
NBA has 2,000 jerseys each, and I think
Yeah.
they've reached a point where even the NBA is like, all right, let's tone it back a little bit, because
Right.
I think it was either a year or 2 years ago they legit had 100 jerseys
You don't
each.
even know who's playing.
Yeah,
at that
it's
time in the
different
NBA.
colors. It's like what are we even doing?
Like,
but go ahead.
Twins, the Twins' third jersey just says Twin Cities, and it's like a cream jersey, cream pants with like Twin Cities.
Their
in
creams are
blue.
sharp. Yeah, their creams are sharp.
And it's beautiful. And like if that was their City Connect, I would be like, that is awesome.
I wish they would have kind of separate the two. If you want to focus on making a jersey to connect with the city and all that good stuff, you don't have to make it these outrageous colors. If you want to do
Right.
a different, crazy color, unique, whatever, do that as well or do that instead. But I think they kind of back themselves into a corner of trying to do too much with one alternate uniform for every team. You just try to attach everything that goes on in the city. And like Elliot said, some of these jerseys have nothing to do with the city they're in. It's just cool colors. Like the Rays one, which is actually one of my favorite
I love
jerseys.
that one.
It's a Tampa Bay. It's a Stingray doing a kickflip. Like sick logo. That's awesome. But like what does that have to do with Tampa? Like I don't know. I think Wrigley's is great because obviously Wrigley's
Right.
where they play and like
Respect
you
our
said,
neighborhoods.
The Boston bombing jerseys or Boston Marathon jerseys are great. So
Like even Seattle's. Like I know I should.
I like Seattle's.
But see, why are they all blue and yellow?
And why are the pants black?
Why is everything blue and yellow? I know it's hard to see on there, but it's they've 5 of the teams just are blue and yellow. 6 of the teams. It's just I don't know who's in charge of these. I don't know if there was like a rep from the organization that was like, you know what, let's design something cool and slick. But and again, the idea, perfect. I love this idea, and I think the Reds arguably have a top 5 City Connect jersey. I
it
think
was ranked 23rd.
that's
by,
crazy.
Bleacher Report.
Crazy. I'm looking at like
Terrible.
people like that Pittsburgh one. That Pittsburgh one sucks.
I wish that
Blue.
they would have been more modest with the older teams, like the new teams, Mariners, Rays, those teams like that. They can just do whatever the heck you
Right.
want. The Diamondbacks, do whatever the heck you want. Marlins, sure, whatever. The older teams like the Tigers, like the Reds, like the Cubs. I wish that there would have been some more modesty in some of the uniforms, right? You didn't always have to do these bombastic colors. You didn't always have to be bright and vibrant. Even like the Steel or the Pirates, they could have made something very basic, right? They could have they could have had the black and yellow like Pittsburgh has, which I think is so cool.
Yep.
I wish more cities did that. But then they just the design then was weird. The Reds, the reason that a lot of people like the Reds is because they're black uniforms. They're just black and they're somewhat they're not bright and vibrant. Like they're just a little more modest. I wish more teams would have done that.
And I do wish that they just got rid of the dark colored pants. Like I think
Yeah.
that just makes everything.
Let's go around
I
the.
love the All Blacks.
I love them. Let's go around the room. Let's take a vote. Did the MLB, did Major League Baseball fail with the City Connect project? I'm gonna vote yes, they failed. Jim,
I'm gonna say yes because they took it too far.
Casey,
Yes, they did.
that's 3 out of 5. Let's see if we can get a sweep.
I'm going to say no.
No.
They sell and the merch sells well, and that's
Correct.
obviously
That's-
how you gauge it.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that people get excited for the City Connect releases, so people are excited for them. It hasn't gotten to the point yet where people are like, oh, okay. Like, we still are talking about it here in Cincinnati. We're talking about a team, like the Twins, who have nothing to do with us. We're talking about their City Connect jerseys, and that will happen every single time.
Do you think all of them are selling though? Like the
I'd say more than not, if
Like
I
the
had
Reds,
to guess.
the
would
Reds
say
are definitely
yes.
selling. The Nationals are probably selling.
Yeah.
And even the jerseys that aren't selling, the merch tied to City Connect sells very well.
the merch does so well.
So I guess it's not in terms of sales, but I wish they would have had a better plan with this, because I think there's no more City Connects after this season, right? I think this is the last one.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
hope they give the Yankees just the worst City Connect.
Yankees denied it. They're not in it.
No, they don't get. I thought Nike might have given them one still anyway.
They might. I don't know, but
I hope
I
they
was
give
told the
some love.
Yankees said no to this. But it's just interesting
they
to me.
said
I'm not going to fault the MLB for trying something new, because God knows they haven't done enough of that over the past 2 decades. So I give them credit for the effort,
Well-
but I think the execution was bad.
See, I disagree with the last thing you said. Shout out to the MLB doesn't do enough new. Every time the MLB does something new, everyone hates on it. The baseball is in such a weird spot as a sport, because the charm of baseball is its past. That's what everyone loves. We love talking about stats. We love talking about memories. We love talking about going to the ballpark with their dad when they were 6 years, 7, 8 years old and seeing Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run the first time that they ever saw him play. That's what we fall in love with baseball. But the game needs to change, and every time that it does change, everyone hates it. And it's just a weird. It's an impossible spot to be in. That everyone wants to bag on Rob Manfred. I think the changes that he has made for the sport has been better more than worse. But beside the point, they'll do a new thing after City Connects are done. They'll have a few years will pass, and they'll do a new thing to kind of intrigue the whole.
Maybe like a retro.
The whole sport. Well, they do the Players Weekend, which is a lot of fun normally, where they have the nicknames on the back, and those are fun. You know what year I really liked? I think it was 2019
For the Reds?
when the Reds did the 150-year celebration.
That was awesome.
That was fun. Where it was once a week they wore completely different jerseys
that was
were
incredible.
some throwbacks.
I wish they'd wear some of those more often. I love some of those throwback uniforms.
Yeah. The Cubs sometimes will wear. They haven't worn them in a few years. They would wear uniforms because there was a third league. I don't know if you guys know this, but at one point, Major League Baseball had 3 leagues. There was the National League, the American League, and then the Federal League. And when Wrigley Field first started, it actually was played at not by the Cubs, but by a team called the Chicago Whales. And every once in a while, the Cubs wear Chicago Whales uniforms, which I think are fun. They're fun. They're whimsical. We love whimsy.
They are whimsical.
We love whimsy here.
That's the one thing I hear
we
about
love
it.
whimsy.
As we wind down, as we have 1 minute left in this program, do we have any final thoughts? What did we learn? You know what? What did we learn today?
Are we doing that? We stealing that one?
Yeah, we'll steal it.
We'll steal that one.
What did we learn? What did we learn on today's program? Let's start with Casey. Casey,
what did you learn?
What did you learn today?
Not that I learned anything on this program, but I just found out that Skyline has floats now.
Using chili?
Oh,
kinda
so
big-
Skyline stealing something from Gold Star?
Oh.
No, you're not. There's
Skyline steals everything from Gold Star. The Bengals, the zoo, the airport.
chili because wasn't Gold Star a restaurant before Skyline?
Yeah.
Skyline did it
pretty
better.
sure.
2.0.
Skyline didn't steal the bad food that they serve, though.
Amen to
Okay. Jimmy, what did you learn?
That the Ohio Cup is an actual trophy.
That's
Okay. Jacob, what did you learn?
I learned that Elliott cares more about his baseball players having high moral standards than being on the field.
That's true. I like my guys to be good people. Sue me.
Hopefully
I
don't sue Noelvi.
learned that Noelvi Marte should have just said, you know what? I didn't do it. I'm innocent, and God loves the troops. That's what he should have said. But instead, he said, I don't know where it came from. Magic horse steroid, we don't know. Reed, what did you learn as we wind down the show?
I learned that the angel Gabriel came down to Noelvi Marte and said, I bestow onto you a negative or a positive steroid test. And that's how it happened. And
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah.
it was an immaculate injection.
That's it, though. That's our show.
That's our show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For the YouTube listeners, always, guys, join in. If you listen to this on ESPN Radio, join in. Just go on YouTube, search Chatterbox or Off the Bench, and we will pop right on up. We're here live every single day, 10A to 12P. But we're live on the radio from 1P to 3P. So however you consume us, we thank you for being a part of this show. See you guys tomorrow on Off the Bench. Kinder and Kev coming up next on 1410 Wing AM. All right, we're back.
Can we do the trophy thing now?
Yeah, let me send them. Let me send them over to Casey Rue.
I'll let you do that. I'll talk about something else. Hey, Jim, what were your thoughts on Clay's Tigers talk? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Tigers talk?
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I agree with everything he said.
I hope they trade Tariq Skubal for parts.
I hope they do
No.
too, and I hope they trade with the Reds.
If they trade Tariq Skubal for any sort of prospects, I would probably freak out and lose my mind.
Connor Phillips and
Hopefully we're live.
Yeah, Connor Phillips and Ashcraft for Skewballs. Yes?
No, you would have to give us bats, which you don't have very many of either. So
No, we'll give you Santiago Espinal as well.
no.
Herd of bees
Hurtubise and L.E. De La Cruz package.
for Skubal
And
and Javi Baez.
Kenta Maeda.
Well, I don't even
Ooh,
want
you could have Javi Baez.
No, we don't want Javi Baez. That's a bad one. Do you think
I
Javi
don't know
Baez...
anyone else on the Tigers.
Javi Baez has, I think, 3 years left or 4 years left. Is that right?
I think three.
Three?
Right?
Do you think he'll fulfill that contract? Do you think he'll go all 3?
You're cutting him out with 2 left.
They'll
right?
they'll find a way to get out of it.
I was gonna say, there's almost no way.
They
That's the
haven't-
worst player in baseball
yeah.
today, right? That's the
Yeah.
worst. Is that the
Worst.
worst player?
Yeah.
Either him or Rendon. When you
Him,
work
that's right.
contracts.
Rendon is.
I think worst qualified hitter though.
Rendon doesn't play.
That's brutal. Poor Rendon, man.
He just hates baseball.
He was just one of those guys. He had a great year. He milked that contract, and he's like, you know what? Pay me all the money in the world. I'm not gonna play for you. I just want your money.
You think he wakes up and people work at finance job, pouring concrete, all that stuff. They're like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. You think Anthony Rendon wakes up? He's like, oh, I got to go to the batting cages today. I got to play baseball today.
Oh, I gotta put on
Like,
sunblock.
Is it
and-
just such a burden for him?
Yeah, I think he hates it so much. He's so out on baseball, especially because he's so bad now. I don't think there's any way to get that guy back. I don't. How many years does he have left?
Who?
Rendon.
Rendon? I'm not sure.
Let's see. Hold on. Anthony Rendon.
Casey, I'm
His
just gonna
MLB his
email
MLB
these to you.
his MLB The Show ranking's terrible too. Not that matters, but
It's a good barometer for players you don't watch during the season to see how they're playing.
yeah. Ellie's ratings are still not that good in MLB The Show. I'm a little.
They
disappointed.
are on my version.
Well, they are on your version. They're not.
Bump those bad boys up real quick.
Yeah, so do I. But it's like his power, like intro to the game, is like 50. It's like
He's like
what-
94 speed. I was like, what 5% of players in the league are better than him?
Yeah,
when
that's
running
crazy.
bases?
It's because they make the ratings all about who's on what team. So if you're on a big market team, you're gonna have more ridiculously good players just so people will play with them.
Oh my God, Rendon was a 7-year deal. Oh, he's a free agent in 2027. Boy, was that a bad deal.
He was supposed to be the missing piece for Trout and Ohtani to get over the hump.
Did he? He played 1 full season. No, he played COVID, so 2 full seasons.
Let's see.
And he was good at the beginning. He was good at the first two seasons. He was good, but man, he fell.
He
off
was the
cliff.
best player on that 2019 World Champion team, Nationals, that had Trey
Yeah,
Turner,
he was
Juan
so good.
Soto, Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer. He was their best player.
Javi Baez is a free agent in 2028.
Boy, oh boy, Jimmy. That's not good.
So
news.
close. It's so close. Only 5 more years.
Which Cub had the worst fall off? Bryant, Rizzo.
Rizzo hasn't.
Baez.
Rizzo's not considered. I mean, Rizzo's not as good as he was.
Rizzo
but
still
Rizzo's
play.
bad
He
this
plays though.
Rizzo's the normal trajectory of where he was going. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't fall off a cliff.
Rizzo,
Right.
after the concussion, his numbers fell
Well, he
off
sucked
the
last
mountain.
year,
Yeah.
and he was good for the first month. But, like, Rizzo, I mean, he's not good. I mean, he's batting .230 with 10 home runs.
I don't know. He's been bad for a while now.
I think it might be
30 home runs 2 years ago.
I think it might be Bryant just because he never plays.
Yeah, Chris Bryant, like, it's clearly Javi Baez. And, like, what happened to Chris Bryant and Javi Baez, to compare what happened to them to Anthony Rizzo,
Yeah.
it's not even close. Like, Javi Baez is one of the worst players in the league. Chris Bryant never plays. At least Anthony Rizzo, he's just the normal trajectory of a 35-year-old slugger. Like,
Yeah.
he's just getting worse. Like, that's just
Right.
what happens when you get older. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a fall off, but he didn't jump off a cliff. Javi Baez was second place in MVP voting
Then they
6
caught
years
him
ago,
cheating.
and then he sucked. And then he get caught. But I
He had to.
around the time that the Red Sox and Astros were caught cheating, that's about the same time Javi Baez and actually all the Cubs started dwindling. So you can do with that information what you want. But yeah, there's that.
Poor Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant won the Rookie of the Year his first year, MVP second year.
Good
Tough.
player. Not
2020 in 2021, when the Cubs were the best team in the NL Central for the first 60, 70 games, Chris Bryant was the favorite to win the National League MVP. And then he just kind of stunk. Because that was the year that Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker were having good Aprils. And I remember Reds fans getting all over Buster Olney because he put out a poll on Twitter. He said, who's your NL MVP at this point? Chris Bryant, 2 other, Ronald Acuna, somebody else that was having a good year, or other. And I remember Reds fans just getting so hot, red hot, because he didn't put Nick Castellanos or Jesse Winker, rightfully so. Rightfully
point,
so on that tweet.
Castellanos was right there.
Was he?
Yeah, he had 100 RBIs that year.
I love Castellanos.
Where do you think he finished in voting in 2021? MVP voting.
Maybe top 10, but I'm saying he
12th.
He had like a 2 or 3 months stretch right there.
Is that his highest finish ever?
Correct.
Certainly, yeah.
Yes.
Alex Avila finished 11th.
This was the MVP voting in National League 2012. Bryce Harper won it. Juan Soto second. Fernando Tatis third. Brandon Crawford coming in at
Cardinals
Forberg.
legend.
Trey Turner, Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Riley, Tyler O'Neill, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Brian Reynolds. So he finished not even the best in the NL Central.
Fourth in the NL Central.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, Ron.
You know who's? I hate to change the subject. Do you know who's
No, you
leading the league in? You're correct. You're right. I don't. You know who's leading the league in home runs right now? Major League Baseball.
Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know he was having that
He's-
good of a
he's-
year.
he's
Did you not
over
see
pace
what happened
of-
in May?
He's over pace of his
No, I didn't. I wasn't paying attention.
home run streak.
He hit like 17 home runs in May.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He has an
And Juan Soto's like
He's
third.
got a 5 WAR already.
his OPS is
Soto's good. Gunnar Henderson's
1.139.
close too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's batting. His OPS is 1.1. He's 25 home. He's on pace for over 60 home runs again.
He's past where he was
That's
in his
phenomenal.
62 home run season at this point.
Yeah, he's on pace for what was his WAR when he had a 10.5 WAR through 70 games. He's on pace for over that. He's on pace for like a 12
If they
WAR.
cut to his home run chase during college football again, I'm gonna be so mad. I mean, that's just the worst thing they've ever done.
Come on.
Come on, that was pretty cool.
Come
the
on.
worst thing they've ever done.
What game was it?
I don't care.
What
If you
game
don't
did they?
like
If
baseball,
it's Miami versus Akron on Tuesday night and they show me Aaron Judge at the plate, I'm going to drive to the headquarters and rip someone's head off. I'm not watching baseball. I'm watching football.
Come
wanna watch
on.
Miami
That was a
versus
fun
Akron?
thing.
God, no. He's not even close to the record. He's close to some made-up record because they don't want
The
to
American League
count their
record.
games.
The American League record.
Yeah, you split up leagues. That's cute.
that's still a record.
Break the MLB record, then we can cut in football.
I remember when I was a kid, and they would break whatever
That's it.
was on
Worst take
TV.
you've
They
ever
would
had.
they would break for no hitters, perfect games, home run records. I remember they would cut like Greg Biggio hit 3,000 hits, and it was like live.
That's brutal.
I would love that. I would adore that.
I think that's
Albert Pujols going over for 700. Listen, these numbers matter in baseball. If we stop holding on to stats in baseball, what do we have?
We have nothing.
What do we have?
Show him on the baseball broadcast, not the football broadcast.
He's really upset that college football was interrupted.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's the
I'm
worst.
sorry that your Minnesota North Texas week 2 football game with a spread of 67.
The
Was
13
cut.
people watching that game do not care about the home run chase. Everyone that cares about the home run chase is watching the game.
Well, maybe they're blacked
Actually a
out of the
fair
game.
point. That's a fair point.
Well, yeah, maybe it was blacked out.
Maybe they're blacked
The
out.
MLB doesn't care about growing their fan base until it's during college football season.
That's true.
Well, college football is
And
going
that's-
down a bad path anyways. So.
They are expanding this playoff.
You think expanding it was bad? Bad move?
Yeah, my dream scenario has always been 6 teams, computer, no committee.
Casey, do you have those?
6 teams would be great.
Five Power 5 champions
I do.
automatically, and then the
I've
top
just
at
been
large,
waiting
no
for the
group of 5.
conversation.
Telling you,
with
6
that,
teams would.
Yeah, that would
All
have been
That's
perfect.
That's what I had wanted.
That would have been perfect.
All right, guys, we have the 4 pictures ready. I've given Casey four.
I have 3.
Oh, there should be a web one that's connected to there, not just a JPEG.
All their webs.
But the three should actually suffice.
All their webs connect them.
Oh, I got the other one. Hang on.
So
web connects
one
them
of
all.
these, I think one of these is a fake trophy. The other ones are real baseball trophies.
Okay.
You've got to determine which one is the Ohio Cup. The Ohio Cup. Casey, it doesn't matter in the order in which you do it. I'll tee it up, and we're going to show which one it is. All right. Here is trophy number 1. Is this the Ohio Cup?
It is not.
No way
is
that's
the
the Ohio
WBC.
Cup.
That's the World Baseball.
That's
Cup.
the
If that was the Ohio Cup, I'd care about the Ohio
That's
Cup.
WBC.
That's
That's
the World
WBC?
Baseball Classic. Yeah, that's the logo of World Baseball Classic.
That's
so
a cool
I was,
trophy.
I was holding that no one would know what
That was a
is.
layup.
Very cool trophy.
Okay. Trophy number 2. Is this the Ohio Cup?
Part of me hopes so because that's such a joke of a trophy that it would
Nope.
make sense for this, but I'm going to go with no.
I think it might be the Ohio Cup. There's
think it might be?
There's two names. There's
It
two.
says Hank Aaron Award on it, so I'm going to go with
It is the Hank Aaron Award that goes to the best hitter of each league every year. Sammy Sosa was the first ever winner of that in 1998.
I couldn't pull up the one that you wanted, so I pulled up a different one.
Here you go. Is this the Ohio
that
Cup?
looks
Looks like
the,
a cup.
That looks like the Ohio
Looks
Cup to
like
me.
a cup to me.
But it looks like, are those golfers up there?
That-
I'm going to wait until it pops up.
Is that the British Open trophy? What
That
trophy is that?
That is the golf. That is golfers.
So I'm going to say no, that's not the Ohio
I'm
Cup.
going to say no
Is
Ohio
not
Cup there.
golfers. That is the
It's the National League Championship trophy.
the
from-
New York Giants.
Oh, you're right. Those are baseball bats.
It's the Hall Cup.
It's a World Championship trophy
For what?
for
The
baseball.
New York Giants earned the Hall Cup
They
over
beat the St. Louis
baseball's
Browns.
oldest existing World Championship trophy.
Okay, well there you go.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that one. You heard of that one, the Hall
Nope,
Cup?
That's above my head. And then this one. Does this look like the
Wow.
Ohio Cup?
Wow.
I mean, if there's only 4 pictures and the first 3 weren't, I like my odds of saying yes here.
In the fact that it's at Jacobs Field, Progressive Field.
And it says the Ohio Cup on it.
Yeah, I can't read. And
That's a
I don't know.
beautiful
Wow.
trophy. That's
That is-
actually a
Well, they've
beautiful
actually
trophy.
that's the second iteration because, like we said, the original one had
ruined.
different logos
Ah,
It
and
had
the other
Chief-
one was
it had-
kind of uglier.
It had Chief Wahoo
That one
on
looks
it.
way
Mr.
better.
Mr. Wahoo was on the.
Mr. Wahoo versus Mr. Redleg.
Yeah, I'll pull up the old
Gapper.
one.
The old one's ugly.
There should be a trophy between the Reds
The old
and the
one's
Phillies,
massive.
Gapper and Philly Fanatic.
Yes.
Whose clueless mascot's better?
The Gapper Philly Fanatic. Who was it? You that said that you don't believe that Gapper is related to the Philly Fanatic, or that they didn't
No, I think
steal.
I said,
They
you
didn't.
said they were the same. I said they were the same exact
Okay.
thing, and then you said they didn't look alike.
The old one is
Here's the old one.
interesting.
Now that is the Ohio Cup trophy right there.
It's more like a
that
bowl.
looks-
That to
That-
me looks like something you give the winner of the Ohio Cup.
That
Shout out to the Ohio Lottery getting placement on it.
That
Top
looks
billing.
like that looks like what the FanDuel guys cook up right before a parlay that they throw on the broadcast. It looks like one of the giveaways Bob Coates out.
Doesn't look like a cup. It looks like a bowl.
Yeah.
That looks
Looks like, has it got a speaker on the bottom? Does that just you keep plugging your phone to that?
Bluetooth.
That
Yeah.
looks like Grady Sizemore and Adam Dunn got together and had some like arts and crafts. And they're just
Yeah.
like, we got baseball bats. What if we just dyed them silver?
Yeah, if I went to Elder High School and I gave the art class 45 minutes, they could come up with that. I guarantee you.
You didn't like the old one then.
Uh,
Now that you've seen the new one, do
new
you
one-
want it? Do you want it in Cincinnati?
I think the Guardians are now a top 3 rival.
yeah,
After
because of
seeing
that,
that
because of that
trophy-
trophy alone.
I'll go Cubs, Cardinals, Guardians.
Cubs, Cardinals, Guardians. Huh? You don't think that are you out on the Brewers? They're not a rival.
They're not a rival to me. They're just always better and dominate us.
You know, the Brewers are like the Ravens, to where they're a newer franchise.
Altiora Mouse.
They're always good, but it's just whatever. It's just
I
yeah,
don't
they're
care.
right, and that's coming from a Cubs guy. They're supposed to be our second biggest rival behind the Cardinals.
Are there ever Brewers fans in Miller Park / whatever it's called?
Talking about
now,
Wrigley North.
when the Cubs play there?
Talking about Wrigley North.
I guess that answers my question.
Yeah. Are the Cubs the biggest rival for the Reds?
Yeah,
Yes,
at
as of
least
right
in my
now.
life.
As of right now, yeah.
I mean,
The
I
Card- the Card-
hated the Cardinals.
'Cause the
The
Reds-
Cardinals were the rival.
Everyone I hated on the Cardinals is gone.
I think the Cardinals rivalry ended right around when Dusty left. I think
No, it ended for me when Yachty retired.
'Cause
I
Yeah.
hate Yachty with every bone in my body. So as long as he was catching for
They
the
let him
Cardinals,
cheat,
openly and visibly,
dude. The ball stuck to his chest protector.
and everyone just collectively went, "Oh, Yachty, that's so
Yachty.
cute."
Oh, that
That's so
Yachty
quirky,
doing that again.
Yachty.
That's just a leader. What was that?
Rubber cement painted on his chest protector.
he didn't know how it got there.
If he
That'd be
would've
like
said
if
that, he
Ti-
would've
that'd
been
be
good to
like
go.
Yeah.
That'd be like if Tim Wakefield just like brought Vaseline out to the mound instead of rosin, and they're just like, yeah, it's Tim.
Immaculate.
I feel like I should hate the Cardinals more. I think it's
Immaculate
because
spread.
Goldschmidt and Arenado haven't
Immaculate
been
spread.
great
Yeah,
there in
spread
the
that
Goldschmidt won an
All-Stars.
MVP?
But,
Yeah, he did.
well, just off these contracts.
You should have said that
Both
out
of their
loud.
extensions haven't been
Oh man, it went over
phenomenal,
there.
especially
I know,
Arenado.
but you should have said it so they heard it.
What'd you say?
Regarding the Yadier Molina thing, where all that stuff was on his chest, Casey had a good.
I said immaculate spread. It went like this.
Yeah, it was the immaculate spread of all the.
Glad we ran that one back for the live
Love
audience.
that. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that.
I liked it a lot. Are you guys not liking it? Because that would be really disrespectful to Casey.
I like it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Seems like these two guys up here didn't like it at all. I saw your
Cubs fans. The Reds are somewhat for me. The Reds are number one because I live in Cincinnati. But for most Cubs fans, I'd say the Reds are like the fourth biggest rival for the Cubs. The Brewers, Cardinals, 1-2, and then it's
I mean,
between
just-
them and the White Sox.
rivalries are two good teams usually, or you want your rival to be somebody that's competitive, and the Reds have not been competitive for a long time. So
The Reds are picking teams that are also fighting for wild card spots most of the time. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
But
You were going to mention my dogs?
I was going to mention your dogs. Reed brought his dogs in yesterday. They were beautiful. I will say, Rookie was bigger than I thought he'd be.
Rookie's a beast.
Rookie's a little
140
bear.
pounds.
Rookie's a little bear.
He's a Great Pyrenees. He's the normal size for a Great Pyrenees, but he's mixed with a golden, so he's supposed to be smaller. He's pretty chunky. And we walked. It's about a little over a mile from my house to here. I'd say it's probably a little over a mile. And Rookie, we came in here and we stopped moving for a second, and Rookie's like, "All right, this is my chance," and he laid down. He's like, I was worried he was going to get back. Does
he ever lay down on the actual walk? Like if you're walking and you're...
No. Rizzo used to do that when he was a puppy.
My dog does that.
He just quits. They just
starts
quit.
sniffing and then just plops down in the grass. You're like, well, I guess the walk's over now.
My dog, I got a little tiny dog, and she does it too. But she only will do it if she's off leash. So if we're walking with her off leash in the backyard, she'll just roll over in the grass and just lay there.
She's got to walk a lot further than Rizzo does, or Rookie does, because Rookie's big, so he's got to take less steps. She's working 3 times as hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rook, he's a lazy. He'd be an awesome dog if he wasn't so dumb. He's just so dumb. And I used to think that it was him. Then I looked into Great Pyrenees, and apparently they're all just very, very dumb animals. They just bark at every single thing, and they do this thing that they punch you. And I thought, like he'll be laying down, you'll be petting him, he'll be laying right next to you, then you stop, and he'll literally punch you, he'll try to hit you,
really,
in the face. He's like, "Come on, quick, keep petting me." And then I looked it up, and that's a thing that all Great Pyrenees do. It's kind of sweet, but it's really annoying when you're laying in bed and he's just like, he's got big, his hands are as big as mine. His balls
that was a big dog.
Yeah.
That was a big dog. But they were both,
Rizzo's a big golden. He's 90 pounds. Goldens are only supposed to be 75.
They were both fun to pet though. I enjoyed that.
I bet you got some hair.
I did.
I bet you took some hair with you.
I did.
Yeah, that was fun. I had a delightful little day off. We went. We took the. I napped.
Did you nap?
I took a
Very
nap.
nice.
I got home at after helping you guys set up. I got home around 10:30, and I napped till 1.
Solid nap.
Oh, it was great.
That's a great nap window too.
I felt a little guilty. I don't like taking naps. They make me feel guilty. They make me feel like I wasted my life.
Yeah.
No.
I agree.
Yeah, but if I need a nap,
Yeah.
See, if I need one, I'll take one. But more often than not, I'm just dude, I could be doing something with my day.
If I take over an hour nap, that's when
Feel
I
guilty. I feel legitimately guilty. I woke up from my nap and started going I could be planting stuff outside. I could be
See,
giving myself an edge.
Your brain goes to I need to be productive. My brain goes to be I need more nap. And when I get home from work, I nap.
what'd you do as soon as we get back from the memorial?
Nap.
I think you just went to bed at 5:30.
Well, yeah, I guess you could just call it bed for that one. That was a long nap.
The one day that we came back, what was that,
with you.
Thursday? We had a long break before we
Yeah.
went to go set up our simulator challenge.
napped. I was
You
asleep.
napped. Me, Casey, and Spur. We walked down to a bar and
Yeah,
just sat in a bar for 3 hours.
Yeah. Jimmy and I walked around the course for 3 hours.
Right. Well, we
Yeah,
had to take all the equipment. home.
We hadn't had a lot of time to ourselves, and I was just tired. I get tired, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep. And I did. Honestly, if you turned off the lights in here and you plopped me right down in this cement, I'd take a nap
Can
in
you sleep
5
anywhere?
minutes. Huh?
Can you sleep anywhere?
Oh,
Or
anywhere.
You're not picky about sleeping?
Nope. Anywhere. I could sleep. I could
So
sleep
you
anywhere.
sleep well.
And you can't wake me up either. My brain can wake me up. If I know I have to get up, I've been waking up 2 minutes before my alarm every morning. The past
Great feeling.
month and a half. Yeah, it is.
Rookie wakes me up. He's my alarm clock.
Well, that's a good alarm clock too. But it's truly you can't wake me up. No snoring. Nothing. If I'm asleep, I'm gone.
I like making myself so tired, working hard all day, to where when I lay in bed, I'm asleep like that. And even then, I'll get in bed and have something that I want to do, either catch up on a show or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't stand a chance. I'll put AirPods in, I'll set it up, and I'm telling you, I get 3 minutes into that show before I'm done, before I'm just out. And I actually, me and Mariana, she gets mad at me because I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna turn on the TV, I'm gonna watch this show, and she's like, why? You're gonna fall asleep in 5 minutes. And I'm like, no. And every time, like most life, she's right and I'm wrong. And so every time, then she'll wake me up and be like, turn off the TV. Like, oh yeah.
I don't watch movies with my dad anymore because of that. My dad will be like, hey, let's watch a movie. Go pick something out, Elliot. I'm like, all right. So I'll pick out a movie, and he'll get about 35 minutes in at night, and it's just gone. He's gone. So I'm like, okay, you lost your movie privileges. No more for you. I will say I've started rewatching The Office. You guys know it's my favorite show, I'm pretty sure. But I used to rewatch The Office once a year. I just rewatch all 9 seasons once a year, and it's my favorite show ever. I can quote pretty much all of it. I love it. I haven't done it in a long time because they moved to Peacock. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get Peacock and I'm gonna go rewatch it. I haven't done it in whenever they moved it off Netflix, 2021 maybe, whenever that was, I have not watched a single episode of The Office. I did it, and on Peacock, it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this. They've got the super fan episodes.
That's what I'm watching right now.
So it's like an additional 8 minutes every single episode. So I'm seeing new things every single episode.
They put the extra bits in there.
Yeah,
And they just they're all through 9 seasons now. Until earlier this year, it was only through the first 5 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, so all 9 are up, or at least 7, I think, are up. I think it was 9, though. It's great. I love them.
It's phenomenal. Like, the extra stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes an episode. It varies like throughout how much extra stuff they have. It's great.
Is there a piece of media that is as adequately beloved as The Office? Like, The Office is beloved by all.
Yeah.
By all. Everyone loves it. It's so popular. Probably a top 5 most popular show ever.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And it deserves the credit. Like, it is truly that funny. It is truly, you fall in love with the character. Like, it deserves all the credit that it does, to where no one can deem it, even saying it's a top 5 show by how many people like it. Like, you can't say that show's overrated. Like, I'm trying to compare it to, like, an athlete that was so beloved that you can't say anything bad about it. Like, The Office, like, all the jokes and stuff like that, you've heard all the jokes, but it's truly a very, 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 very funny show. It was
the show that I think started, like, the binge watching. I'm pretty sure that was the one that kicked everything off. When you look back at the streaming and everything that took off then,
that was the number 1 most streamed show on Netflix for like 5 years in a row.
Yeah, it destroyed. Like, that show was done in 2013, and it picked up again, I think it was 2016 or 17. Maybe a little even earlier than that, when the whole world took over. So
the shows that started binging, Netflix kind of invented the binging, because before Netflix there was appointment television. You talked about watching The Walking Dead. I watched The Walking Dead as a kid, and you'd have to tune in every week to watch your show. Same with that's how TV was, right? The season would come out once a year, once every 2 years, and you had to sit down week by week. HBO still does this, and I'm completely locked into whatever HBO shows on Sundays at 9. Shout out to us, Casey. We got House of the Dragon coming up. House of the Dragon coming up this Sunday.
I gotta watch season 1.
But the shows that invented that was Netflix's dramas that were very popular. Yeah. Orange is the New Black and House of Cards were their first 2 very, very popular dramas that are good shows. I love House of Cards. I've seen a little bit of Orange is the New Black, but they're the ones that were like, you're gonna just give us the entire season right away? Yeah, sure. And now I think they're actually going back on it because they realize that you can stay in the conscious of people's brain if you space it out.
I've been poisoned so much I can't do the 1 episode a week thing, but I like the 6 episodes, say, like, splitting up the season in half. It gives me the ability to binge it a little bit, but still makes me wait. That's probably my favorite release model. Now, the only other show I could think of, like The Office, that has a general positive, not a comedy, but Breaking Bad. Seems to be
loves
that one.
Everyone likes it. Everyone
Correct.
thinks
And
it's one of the best.
it deserves the credit.
And it is one of the best shows. So those are really the only 2 I think that have a universal taste.
Suits, I would say, is getting there.
But even that was post. It's almost a decade after it aired.
Suits isn't on the same pedestal as Breaking Bad.
No.
I like
no.
Suits, but I wouldn't say it's like a great show.
No. But I don't think anybody talks bad about Suits.
That's
I think you just.
If you understand Suits for what it is, and that's just like it's not groundbreaking in the way of like a comedy. Office was for comedy and Breaking Bad was for dramas, but it's undeniably a fun watch.
For sure.
It's undeniably something that you sit down and you're entertained every single episode that you watch. Sometimes, like, I remember when I was a kid, and I would make a point when I was in high school and young college. I would make a point to watch every Academy Award nominee movie, and like I didn't see the point in watching just fun movies or fun. Like, I had to watch the best of everything. Like, I had to go back and watch. Like, gotta watch The Wire. I've got to watch Sopranos. Like, the best TV shows ever. I gotta watch the best movies ever. And now I realize it's okay to watch a 2-hour just fluff. Like, it's okay to just watch honestly, sometimes bad movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to just sit around and watch a 2-hour movie that just, there's no point to it. Not everything has to be groundbreaking or have a political message or have something to say. Like, sometimes you just need to be entertained. Same way with music. Like, I don't always have to listen to Led Zeppelin or like listen to every single line of a Kendrick Lamar album.
Get you some espresso.
Every once in a while, you got to turn on Sabrina Carpenter, right? You gotta entertain yourself for a couple minutes. What's her new one? Please, please, please.
And it's good.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's okay.
I haven't heard that one.
It's good.
I wonder if that music video is good too.
I think it's got Barry Keoghan or her boyfriend in it.
Oh, really?
Not a fan of him. Just
I don't like
the
him
boyfriend
either.
Part.
I don't like him either. Just the boyfriend part.
New Girl.
He's a father.
He's a great actor.
I've never seen New Girl.
He's a father. New Girl rocks.
New Girl is great. New Girl is even I think a step beyond The Office in like the turn your brain off and watch sitcom.
Yeah.
But it's very funny and it is good.
Right. It's just sometimes you need to be entertained. Sometimes you just don't want to think. Sometimes you just want to sit around. Like I just watched on HBO. They just did a show called The Sympathizer, and it was about a double agent in the post-Vietnam War. And there were some deep undertones about communism versus capitalism in this whole thing. And then I just turned right around and I was like, all right, let's watch something more easy, easy to believe. Although that show was fun in the fact like Robert Downey Jr. was in it and he played like 5 different characters.
Oh.
So it was that was fun. But that was a good watch. I can't wait for House of the Dragon. I'm watching True Detective. Anyone seen True Detective season 1?
No.
I heard it was really
I've heard
good.
it's incredible.
Someone called it the greatest season of all time.
I've heard that.
Which I've always thought is the greatest season of all time is season 4 of Game of Thrones.
I've always said the end season of Breaking Bad.
That last season of Breaking Bad's
The
incredible.
last 6 episodes are 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, this True Detective, I didn't watch it last week because we were out of town, but it's really good.
What's it on?
It's HBO.
HBO.
Okay.
I don't like shows like that don't continue the story. But I got frustrated with what's the one on Netflix they all try to be real cool with all their weird episodes.
Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. I liked like individual episodes like that, but they never continue the story.
Well, True
attach
Detective's a
myself to
season.
a show.
Yeah, I know.
It's not an episode.
It tells
at
a
time.
full story.
See, I've always liked movies more than TV shows because I think it's better story format wise to introduce characters, give me what they're going after, then wrap up the story all in like a 3-hour setting. I think that plays better than a 6-season arc. I like it when my friends, well, now we're just talking about shows. I like it when my friends tell me they won't watch Game of Thrones. Reminder, I went to private school for 16 years if you include college. And they did too. They went to private school for 12 years. I like it when they tell me that they won't watch Game of Thrones because it's not grounded in the real world while simultaneously talking about how great The Wire is. The Wire is fantastic. But I like to tell them, what happens in The Wire is just as far away from your reality as Game of Thrones. Like, that is not the life we live whatsoever. So let's pump the brakes on it's got to be grounded in reality. I have one friend, he will not watch a show unless it's about, like, drug trade. Like, he literally watches The Wire.
Narcos rocks.
The Wire, Narcos, Ozark, those are the shows he watches, and he won't watch anything else. Like, it's got to be grounded in gangs. And by the way, think about all the best movies and TV shows. Almost all are about gangs.
Mafia, gangs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, can we get some other
Yeah.
There's other stories to tell in the
Honestly,
world.
I'm good. If they're hitting at a clip this high, like they're hitting like 90% of Mafia movies are just great. So
Right.
I'm all right with it.
The Boys. Will you be watching The Boys? That drops. Is that Thursday?
I think it's
The
either
boys,
this week or next
the
week.
boys lost me.
Really?
I don't know
Yeah.
that I've ever been this in on a show each season. Like
The Boys
season
lost
3
me.
now, and I'm just as excited
Yeah,
as I was
same.
for season 2.
The boys lost me.
Did you watch the last season?
I've watched every episode.
Did you watch Gen X?
right when it
Elliot?
comes out?
No,
I did
not
not watch
yet.
Gen
I've
X.
heard you have to.
Okay. All
I've
right.
heard you have to.
I watched it.
Do you think you have to watch it?
The lead actor
know.
Gen
I
X
mean-
died though. Did you hear that?
Spoiler
No, I did
alert?
not.
Or
No, died in real life.
Oh.
The actor died.
I guess still spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's. I heard one of the lead actors died.
Well, I mean, there is a big.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Let's-
R.I.P.
The last episode is pretty big
Okay.
in terms of like crossing.
Can
the
that
two
be one of those
shows.
things where I just watched the last episode?
Probably.
Okay, cool. That's what I need.
That's what I'll do.
Because now that's one thing I don't do well. spin-off shows and subplots
That's
and everything. I'm gonna watch the show you have me watching.
Yeah.
Don't make me do homework.
I actually
Marvel lost everybody
Marvel
on that.
lost me
Well,
with that.
has there ever been a spinoff that's been fantastic?
Mouse is hammering young Sheldon. In the
Frasier.
chat.
Frasier's good.
Frasier's arguably better than Cheers. In fact, it's not even arguable. I'm pretty sure it's
Okay,
just
well,
better
like
than Cheers.
also okay, but I'll say like, has there ever
No,
been
critically
a drama?
acclaimed. It's been more. It was more
Okay.
critically acclaimed.
Okay, so has there ever been a drama with a spinoff that has been great?
Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is
Okay, that's a good one.
arguably.
All right, there you go.
I
There
think
you go.
I like it better.
I think I like
That's
it
how we'll
better
wrap
too.
up
That
the
last
show. That was
season of
quick.
Better Call
but I
Saul.
don't think Better Call Saul is good if you don't watch. Like you have to watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another drama, and I don't know if I have one.
I haven't
but-
watched Sopranos yet. I think Sopranos is next after House of Dragons. I'm a slave for HBO.
Sopranos
Max.
has been next on my list for about 4 years.
Well, shout out to the Sopranos. Somehow they found out that I want to watch it. Now they're just sending me TikToks, those like 2-minute TikToks every once in a while. So I've got to watch Sopranos. Yeah, HBO Max is my favorite streaming service by a country mile. Even though its user interface isn't very good, it's my favorite because of the content. They have the best shows. They just straight up have the best shows. They actually get pretty good movies. Although they don't create their own movies, they only create shows, so that stinks. But they're normally pretty quick. But HBO Max is my favorite by a mile. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Off the Bench. Whoop, 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 whoop. See you guys.
Peace.